Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? You are now tuned in, locked in, and loaded to the Living Splitscreen in the morning, man. Man, it seems like it was going to be a, not very newsworthy week, but somehow I feel like we may still pull it out. So again, welcome to the Living Splitscreen. We got some magnificent The Ascent gameplay for you guys in the background that me and Pong co-opt and really gave it to you. So we're going to give you some updates on that since there was an update on that this week. And other than that, man, I just appreciate everybody who's tuned in at this current moment. With that being said, though, I gotta get to the other host of the show. If you didn't know who I am, I'm going to let you know right now. It is I, the one and only Steel Rain. But I have to pass it off to the guy, the magnificent one. They call him the man of the Magnificent Seven. They call him the Uncanny Gentleman. My brother from another.
Nobody's ever
Pong. So what's going on, my guy?
Nobody has ever called me that. What are you just making up something? Hey, by the way, did you hit the record button this week?
I'm hitting the record button right now.
Okay. Do you want to start your intro over? Or we're just rolling?
I think I'm gonna let you do your intro, and we're gonna start it off like that. Welcome to the Living Splitscreen, guys.
Episode 19, Living Splitscreen is here. Good morning, Steel. Another hell of an intro, even if you're making up shit as you go about me, that's fine. You're my hype man. I love you, and I appreciate that. It's a great Saturday morning. We're finally getting rain here.
Oh, wow.
We are been in Drought City, and we're finally getting some rain, so it's a perfect morning to be doing some podcasting, which it always is. Saturday mornings, because Living Splitscreen is my favorite place to be of the week. But yeah, man, it's been kind of a slow news week, but as Steele alluded to in his intro, we always find a way. And last week we thought we were going to have a short show, and it wound up being our longest show. So you guys know how it goes. Chat, you were a big part of that last week. Love seeing everybody out there already, in the chat, and hopefully you guys might give us some more ammo this week that we can go off of. But like Steele said, had an awesome week this week. He and I got to play a lot. Well, last weekend rolling into this week, we got to play a lot of the Ascent, and we would definitely will give you our updated thoughts on that. We have not beat it yet, but man, we have been putting work in there. I got to play some Back for Blood. Got into that beta.
Definitely want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Otherwise, that's been about it for me. The usual. Plenty of games been dropping. I don't know how many. I think it was 3 or 4 games showed up in Gamepass that I completely forgot about. So I picked up Blue Mines. I picked up Dodgeball, Academia, which I popped on for about an hour.
Did you? What did you actually think about that, man? Does it seem pretty cool?
Yes. I think, again, an hour in, it is what, early impressions. But again, I had seen the reviews were popping off, and a lot of people over on Switch are extremely excited about this game. So I was like, okay, well, this is cool. I like JRPG style, old school style, but I popped it on. Again, as always, the first thing is going to be your visual, and the style of this game is fantastic. I absolutely love it. The cartoonish style, color palette is different from your standard color palette, which always catches my eye. Love it. Love it. Love the characters already. Some of the characters already made me laugh, even though there's no voice acting. It's old school. It's text with the womp, 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 womp. So
the good old Charlie Brown now.
Exactly. But really, good writing so far. I was, like I said, I laughed. So that's always a good sign when I'm laughing up front. And I love Dodgeball. I this thing caught my eye when I first saw it because I remember Super Dodgeball on NES. Me and my sister played it a ton. So I was like, you're giving me Dodgeball with an RPG. Okay, cool. And I got to do a little bit of training for the Dodgeball section. Of course, they give you that up front or whatever else, through the story.
Right.
And the mechanics are awesome. So really simple, pick up, play. Looks like you're going to have some superpowers, be able to throw the ball differently, but the town setup is cool. Really good. So I actually am looking forward to diving in that some more, although this week is another big week for releases too. So
Yeah.
what are we going to do? What are we going to do, Steel? We need a cloning machine. We need to have two of us at all times. So one of me can go to work and deal with real life, and one of me can just play games 24/7. That's what I need. So,
man, or you could just, be bougie like me and just play, be very specific about the games that you play.
no.
I know.
I like everything. I'm playing everything. No, I know. It is awful. I wish I had more of that. It would make my life a lot easier.
Oh, good. That's what makes it great.
Gameplay wise. But no, the experiences are amazing. Again, Golden Age of game is here, folks. Just nonstop dropping. But Steel, you got into the Ascent. Did you get into anything else this week at all, or were you pretty much locked in?
This week has been another one with me going through training at work and everything, and just stuff going on personally. It's been kind of a slow week for me game wise, unfortunately. I did get into, I don't know what it is, man. See, I want to talk to the people because I don't know if it's Halo's fault. I don't know if it's my fault. I don't know if it's 343's fault. I don't know if it's the Ascent's fault. I don't know whose fault it is, Neon Giant. I don't know whose fault it is. But for some
I noticed
reason,
you didn't say it my fault in any of that.
No. No.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, continue. Sorry.
What I think it is, man, is I got this bug in me where it's just like, the Halo flight test went by and everything. I was having a good time with that. Playing against the boss was cool. And then we had that PvP session for 3 hours or whatever the case. And it went away next day. I got this message on my Steam, right? And it was like, hey, by the way, here's a notice. We took away the Halo Infinite tech test from you. And it was like this big yellow screen. I thought somebody got into my account and suspended it for some reason. But no, they were like, no, we're suspending this game. And this moment of sadness came upon me. And
did you shed a tear? Did you grab the Kleenex?
I don't know if I grabbed the Kleenex, but this moment of sadness came upon me. And since that day, it's just been really hard for me to game. I don't know what it is. It's like every time that I get home and I sit down in front of the PC, and I'm looking through the library, I'm like, man, none of these games look like Halo Infinite right now for me. So I maybe it's my fault because again, that's why I don't play demos or why I don't like to play tech tests and stuff like that. Is that exact reason? Because if it's a game that I'm interested in, it's kind of it's the same thing like I've talked to you about with Scarlet Nexus. You guys, a bunch of people played the demo. They either liked it or didn't. I was already all the way committed with it, and I hate that. Not necessarily FOMO, because it's not fear of missing out. It's just when you enjoy something, want to keep playing it, right? And I feel like that's a thing for everybody, where you just get so enthralled in whatever you may be playing, whatever you might be watching, whatever the case may be. And it's like a good TV show where you just got to binge it. Like after that point, it's like, oh, what happens next? So that's been kind of my thing, but I think what really kind of done it for me, other than just like personal shit, is the Ascent, man. I was having some issues because the Ascent on PC, for whatever reason, now I was able to finally update my BIOS on my PC. I haven't been able to do it since I got my new motherboard, and so it's been on the default BIOS, and I'm using a Asus B550 rig, ROG Strix motherboard. Whatever the case might be, for the
speaking foreign languages to me right now. Go ahead.
People, just for the people who might know about your motherboards and whatnot. But yeah, I hadn't had a chance to update my BIOS for whatever reason. I was having an issue to get into the BIOS originally, but it would boot the PC just fine. So I was like, oh, whatever, I'll get to it later. And I just got to a point where I was like, man, maybe I'm having a BIOS issue or something going on my side that I need to update. So I just went through, updated a bunch of stuff. And I haven't been able to jump into the Ascent, but my whole point with that is, for whatever reason, the Ascent is very poorly optimized on PC. I know the last time me and you played together, I want to say that was a few days ago. Last time me and you played together, I was getting in there. I'm playing at I'm getting into the game, mind you, playing on a 1080 screen, 120 hertz. I'm playing on ultra settings. Got everything turned up. Playing at 120 frames we're playing fine, and then all of a sudden the game goes down to 30.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And see, when you jump down from 120 to 30, at least on PC, it's very noticeable. Like it starts getting choppy. You know, people are like, "Oh, we've been playing at 30 FPS for however long, and it's never been." No, it's noticeable when the game is not meant to be played that way. I believe the Ascent is meant to be played at 60 frames minimum. Especially on console or whatever the case might be. So it was very jarring for me, and it was actually starting to turn me off. I was getting pissed off at the game because there was other one was before that. I think what started it before that is we were playing, and then we were having. I mean, because you were having it on the Series X too,
Yep.
where we'd be in areas, right, and we'd be walking through we'd be killing people or we killing mobs or whatever the case might be, and the frame rate would be just fine. And then we'd get into an area, we'd just get into a regular area, and now the game wants to be choppy. So I was like, okay, so when all the mayhem's going on, everything is good. But then when we're just walking around trying to get to the next mission or whatever the case, now everything wants to start chopping up or whatever. And I was like, see, Luke Steel was saying it's a DirectX 12 issues, and Luke Steel, see, that's what I thought too, my guy. But and I turned off DirectX. I went back to DirectX 11 after the first day, and I'm still experiencing the same things. I'm still getting the same issues. Now, again, it could have been because I didn't have my BIOS wasn't fully updated or whatever the case might be, but everything else was updated, and I wasn't having any other issues. I just think that there's optimization issues. The only reason I say that is because I ducked through the internet and everything, and I saw other people saying similar things that, hey, I'm experiencing all these other issues. You got to go into the NVIDIA control panel and make sure you set the game at 100 frames or set it whatever frame rate that you want to play at so it stays there. And then I was doing those things, and the game would still drop down. It would start off with playing 100 plus frames, and then it would drop down to 30, and then I would play more, and then it would drop down to 10. I was like, yeah, I can't do it. It got to the point where it was just pissing me off. So I was like, you know what? Instead of just getting pissed off at the game, I'm just going to play on my Series console. So went over there, hopped on the Series S. And I feel like after we hopped on, I got on the Series S, I've had solid experience since. I haven't had any issues. So most of this gameplay that you're going to see today, again, the gameplay that you're going to get today, the first half of it is on PC. So you'll see that I was having smooth gameplay. Like things were working just fine. And then we got to a certain point, and then things just got choppy. But the back half is actually played on the Series S. So you let me know if you can tell the difference. But with that being said, yeah, man. So I was just trying to prevent frustration with this thing because, again, I mean, we were having a good time with it. Although, and it's a good, good way to like kind of roll into this. But because I know we wanted to touch on it since the update came out before we get to the upcoming games and everything. But for me, there's other things that are going on within the Ascent as far as just optimization wise goes. There's some frame issues. I know Pong was saying like he's playing on the Series X, right? And on the Series X, you're not expecting to run across some of these issues. But I thought it was initially because we're connection issues, whatever the case might be. But even Pong was saying like he was experiencing some choppiness in some areas.
And random.
It is random, just random choppiness. And it was just like, it just pulls you out of the experience, especially when you get, when you get really into it, man. Because we're loving the weapons, we're loving the combat, we're loving the mission structure. Shout out to Poon out. You know what I mean? He's the guy,
my boy,
the homie Poon. But yeah, it's just definitely seems like there's something else going on within the game that can be a turn off, but I don't want that to discourage anybody, right? If you're having a solid time with it, keep joining. I've heard other people that were having an excellent time with it. So hopefully it continues to get those updates and everything else. Luke Steele again says, for sure it is not well optimized in any case, and weirdly the ray tracing and DLSS options either don't work or aren't available on the Gamepass PC version. Yeah, Luke Steele, it's still the same thing for me. I don't have any of those options. It's like, damn, I kind of low-key don't want those options. And what's crazy to me is I saw somebody on Reddit, kind of going on and on. I do want you to get your I do want to get your opinions real quick on the Ascent before.
No. Keep going, brother. Look, we don't have a lot to talk about today, so let's do this. Let's go.
But I saw somebody just to talk a little bit more on the PC side of things. I saw somebody say, "Oh, well, you'll be surprised of how demanding this game actually is. Even at 1080p at ultra, it's." I'm like, no, man. I was just playing the game just fine at 120 plus
Yeah.
frames with no issues. And no, like that just makes no sense. You know what I mean? I got 2070 Super. I got a 300X, 3800X Ryzen CPU. So it's like I have a PC that can handle it above and beyond, especially at 1080p. Like if it was at 4K, I'd be like, all right, I'm doing too much. But it's at 1080p, man. Like, come on, what is going on? But that's just me. Other than that, the little frame stuff. I saw somebody, Geezer Prime was saying the audio issues. I know you can speak to that a little bit, Pong, because you said you were getting some of those, when you were fighting the robots and everything, the machine gun noises wouldn't go away. So tell me a little bit how you feeling about Ascent. Give the people a little bit of an update, man. I know we talked about it last time, but
no, we did. Again, we list off all these like little issues that we're having, but I gotta say the game itself is just fun. It is really, really good. And again, I give credit to the 12-man team over there at Neon Giant for being ambitious. Now, were they too ambitious? You can argue that. And that might be why we're seeing what we're seeing, that they tried to do too much with a small team. But this game overall is still a blast. There's balancing issues. There's all these little...
talk to that.
Yeah. There's balancing issues. The random... the random difficulty spikes when you meet enemies, and they could be the same level, they could be a lower level, and all of a sudden they fight better than the higher level. Like they're bigger bullet sponges.
That was the thing that we were experiencing because we were playing on hard because the update came out and we were playing on hard. And mind you, me and Pong are like level 20, and we're like what, 24 now?
20, 24, 25.
We're somewhere up there. At the time, I think we were like level 22. We were level 22. I turned the difficulty to hard just to try it out to see what's going on. Cause I like to play my games on harder difficulty. And we get into these levels. We meet a group of level 16 enemies, and we're like, bro, we're using the RPG 23, and we're shooting these guys upgraded. I'm talking about it's like tier 8,
level 8, level 9.
Yeah, RPGs, RPG 23s, and we're shooting these guys like 6 times. We're like, bro, what is going on? And then they shoot us with a couple bullets, and we're like already halfway dead. I'm like, all right, man, like that just doesn't make sense. Something's off with the balance. But my fault. Go ahead, man.
No. So I again, like we mentioned all this stuff because it definitely needs to be talked about, and it's something that they're obviously working on. Again, 12-man team. They got obviously their nose to the grindstone. They got out that first patch. I wish they were giving a little bit more updates, but again, if they're just nose to the grindstone trying to get this stuff worked out, more power to them. I'm all about it. This game overall, again, still sits, probably at a 7.5 for me with the issues. If the issues weren't there, this would easily be an 8.59. I think this game has a lot going for it. The details. How many times do we stop, Steel, as we've reached these new sections and gone, man, look at this place?
Quite a few times. Biggest example. We were playing that section the other day, and we thought we were about to run off the cliff.
Because the glass is so dang clear, man. It's ridiculous. Like both of us had the same feeling at the same time. It was hilarious. I had this feeling like you're running off the edge, but it was a glass. It was a transparent part of the walkway, but it looked so clear that you thought you were walking off the edge. Just stuff like that. But again, the details never cease to amaze. The detailing in the levels. And actually all the different places that we're now seeing, Steel, like from the early shots and the early videos, you pretty much thought you were going to be in this grimy city. Well, there's other spots that surprise you. I'm not going to give it away for anybody who hasn't played it. Exactly. But you walk into other spots, you're like, holy cow, where am I now? This is completely different from where I just was. This is not the grimy, dirty cyberpunk city I was just in.
Right.
So things like that just surprise. The different ways that they use. Again, I'm a big color guy. That's what you always hear me talk about it. But with palettes and stuff. But just a different how they differentiate a lot of the levels with just the color that they use and the lighting that they use is absolutely stunning in some places. I mean, really, I think Jez Gordon from Windows Central said it. This is probably going to be one of the best looking games you will see out there right now. And I would say for the most part, he's right. Now we've walked into some graphical issues as well. Steel. I think a lot of the problems on my side with assets not loading. I've had to wait many times coming off the elevator or coming out of a taxi for the levels. I sent Steel a screenshot of it where there's just nothing. We're walking in midair pretty much with buildings down below. That kind of stuff, I think a lot of it has to do with the co-op. And I think I think that has to be fixed, patched out, obviously, and redone or whatever the case may be, because there seems to be more issues in co-op than there is in single player, because I've seen a lot of people playing single player, and even though a lot of people were having problems with the difficulty spikes in single player, they didn't seem to be having a lot of the glitchiness that we've been coming across in co-op. So I have a feeling a lot of it has to do with that. Now, thankfully, we haven't lost any save files. I know people have lost save files. People have had corrupted save files, whatever the case may be, really? Stuff like that. We have had one side mission not pop. And I think we've only had one side mission. I know people have had multiple side missions. I do have the achievement bug. I've got achievements that are not popping for me while we're playing co-op, which I know is another issue that people have talked about. I've seen a lot of people. I think the Mag just posted that he finished the game, did all the stuff to get the achievements, but was missing 3 achievements. So that kind of stuff, again, needs to be worked on. But Neon Giant, for their first game out, this ambitious in a cyberpunk world. And I was kind of talking about this in chat last night or a couple days ago. I can't remember where I was. Somebody asked, has there ever been a perfect cyberpunk game, a bug-free cyberpunk game? And I said, go back to Shadowrun on Genesis to get close to that. But I said that the thing with cyberpunk is, anytime you do cyberpunk, I think it's probably one of the toughest genres to nail down in video games, just because it gets so complex, right? Especially when you get into the RPG aspect of stuff, with all the tech, with all the stuff that's going on in a cyberpunk world. To me, it feels like it's one of the toughest genres just to get right. And I think a lot of times your resources are spent working on all of the different systems that are involved in a game that is in a cyberpunk world. And so what you wind up is these games come out and they just feel, unpolished, or they just have these little problems because there's so much going on, even more so than like a medieval style Western RPG, right? There's a lot of stuff going on there, but it's not as complex as what you got going on in Cyberpunk. At least that's just my feelings. Again, no experience in dev work, but again, Cyberpunk worlds just seem to have these little issues all the time. So, but overall, again, the experience, Steel and I are having a blast. I still have a couple short videos I clipped from Xbox that I have to post to Twitter of some craziness, because Steel and I have an army of mechanical spiders.
Yeah, we love those spiders. We love those damn spiders
that we throw out that these enemies just aren't ready for, because we get like I don't know, probably 12 to 14 spiders on screen at the same time, and stuff gets hectic along with our RPGs. So
yeah.
It's been a blast. I love the game. I'm really impressed with Neon Giant out the gate. I think this is a studio to watch as they grow, as they learn. I think this is obviously they definitely have the know-how. Now they just got to get better at putting it all together in the final product, right? They took extra time to get to this point. So I'm glad they didn't release last year, because I can't imagine what kind of state it was in last year. Now seeing it here, right? With the pandemic and everything else, this was supposed to be a launch window title. So I'm glad they delayed it. I'm glad it's where it's at. Unfortunately, there's going to be some people who are just turned off by the glitches and the bugs. Some people are more sensitive to that stuff. I'm not. I come from the old school when we got a lot of that stuff back in the day. So I pushed through it. I just have fun with it. But there's a lot of people nowadays, especially with how many games that are out there, that are going to play this, encounter some of the stuff that you and I have encountered, Steel, and put it away. But I'll tell you what, most of my Twitter feed, anybody that's been playing it for a while,
having a great time.
Having a great time. K Mega's loving it. Shout out to K Mega. I saw him tweeting about it. I've seen so many people just really, really loving this game. Like you and I are
Facts.
despite the bugs. We just have to mention what's going on.
Yeah.
The difficulty, why don't you talk about, because you kind of played around the difficulty on your side because you're hosting the game. What'd you see out of the difficulty patch that they put in?
Again, maybe it's where we're at, but just like the scenario that I posted to you guys earlier, where we turn it on hard and we're fighting enemies that are a lower level than us, that we have at least a 4-level gap on, and you still getting getting shredded by them. We got good gear on too. It's not like we got some mediocre gear on or whatever the case. We got low level gear. No, we got good gear on too. At least that good for our stats. At least the way it comes across. And I guess it kind of speaks to what Jess Corden was saying about the RPG element and how some of the stats don't really scale well with the game overall.
Yeah, he said on Xbox 2 yesterday, not to jump in, but
yeah,
since you brought that up, he said on Xbox 2 yesterday, he just wished they would have dropped the entire RPG element and just ran and just perfected a twin stick shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree, and I agree with some of those points. Yeah. I do like what they're going for. But another example of that, I guess, of the scaling or whatever the case, because they let you get whatever gun and take it with you, right? You can level it up as much as you want to, whatever the case might be. I started using the EBR, the gun that had the tracing rounds or whatever the case that you said, the energy one.
Yep.
And I started using that. I got that gun to level 5, and it's stronger than my level 9 submachine gun.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, okay. That doesn't really make sense. If you're supposed to scale with me as I'm leveling up, if you're going to give me that opportunity to spend the resource, because it's not like you get this resource and they just drop it like it's rain, right? It's not, right. They just don't drop out of nowhere. Like you got to kill enemies and you got to go to these different areas. You got to do a bunch of missions to get these resources. So it's like when you spend them, you got to spend some time going to go get some more. So for me to have spent all the resources and then use it, and it's like, damn, I don't know. It just seems off. And then when we put it on the harder difficulty, it just seems like the scaling is off at least. I don't mind the enemies hitting harder or whatever the case might be, but don't dumb down my damage. You know what I mean? Like, don't scale back my damage just because the game got harder or whatever the case might be. We were doing just fine. Like, before you put the difficulty in there, we were running around RPGing. If they weren't if they weren't at least, because again, we've had a level 8 RPG. It was like the first guns we leveled up. We've had level 8 RPGs for a while. You know what I mean? So unless the enemies were our level or higher, we were 2-tapping everything else. If it wasn't one shot, we were 2-tapping everything else if you weren't our level or above. So it's just like you put it on hard and it changes. It's like, okay, now it takes 4 or 5 shots. I don't know, man. It just doesn't. This seems like it doesn't scale well. But again, it was just a little bit of time that we were able to get in that night. We can always go back in and play with it. But again, I mean, but overall, we've been having a good time with it.
For sure. It's been fun.
Not taking it too serious, but with that being said, we've
Poon out.
Poon out, facts.
408 hung.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about.
Look, sorry guys, but if you haven't played the Ascent yet, I know some people have bashed the or have trashed the story and stuff, but honestly, there's some really good writing in there and some really low key comedy that's just hilarious. And there's some shout outs to major movies and sci-fi from the past, which is really
Star
cool.
Wars references.
I've caught like 5 or 6 references, Star Wars references. One of the scenes, one of the characters says, "And remember, no disintegration." And I was dying. I was like, "Oh my god, they actually did a Star Wars reference." So there's the Neon Giant understands what they got and what they're dealing with, and I love some of it. And like I said, some of the low key comedy, me and Steele have been laughing, and I can't help myself. I'm a kid.
There's definitely a high ceiling for them them there. I'm excited to see where they can really take the game. I would love to see an Ascent 2. Again, I mean, we haven't beat this game yet, but I think now, because we were pushing through the missions at one point. I think now when we get a chance to go back in, probably gonna do a lot of side missions and whatnot, just to knock out. Because we've been
doing a lot of those, but we did kind of push through the main missions at one point. So, but we're 90% of the enemy codex already. The enemy codex already. So
we'll see. But we're
Yeah.
having a good time with it. I definitely suggest it to the people who are interested in it. If not, hey, just wait, maybe
Yeah.
wait a little bit if you're playing something else and jump into it when you got some time. It's definitely one of those games to where it'll improve the longer it's out, for sure. But
Yeah.
with that being said, man, just to shout out some people in the chat, because
Yeah,
we
we got a
gotta
lot.
show some love before we get into the upcoming game segment. We're already, again, we're already 30 minutes in.
Of
I
course
mean,
we are.
I
What
mean,
else is new?
you know how we do. You know how we give it up, man. Um,
Yeah.
but look, I got to shout out to the people because I mean the biggest reason why me and Pong do this is because of y'all. I saw y'all on Xbox Ultimate last night. Shout out to the 1 year of the
That's right. That's right.
Xbox Ultimate podcast being out and y'all really doing y'all thing. Much love to you guys out there. Y'all have shown me nothing but love, respect, and positive energy and everything. And I feel like that just gets reciprocated, right? Because again,
You're part of the family, brother. You know that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Because again, a lot of what we did, like especially me and Paul, man, a lot of our initial engagement was through chats and stuff, man. Shout out to Boom, shout out to RDX. I mean, none of these guys need the shout out, but I definitely want to give them the shout out because shout out to the Lords,
Midweek mix up.
shout out to midweek facts.
Of course. The
We
Gamepass Gaming. Hey, by the way,
definitely do.
Gamepass Gaming. I know you guys probably aren't going to listen to this because you got a lot going on, but Flap and Puxley, man, blessings to you and the family. Again, my thoughts and prayers are with you guys.
100%.
Tough times again. Take all the time you need. We'll all be here when you guys get back, but just take care of yourselves. So
100%.
yeah.
But yeah, if it wasn't for Boom, if it wasn't for the Iron Lords, if it wasn't for RDX, and if it wasn't for Rand, I don't know if I don't think I would have been in the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those are the shows that got me into the community. Those are the shows that me and Pong were chatting with in the background, and what started the whole engagement with us in DMs and everything. I know people people like to try to make fun of Pong a little bit, say, "Oh, he's the encyclopedia of gaming, and he's just on every podcast." But I want you guys to know it's a genuine thing. Pong does these podcasts because he loves talking about it. It's beyond, it's a passion, but it's not only a passion, but it's something that he genuinely cares about. And it's the same thing for me, man. Like, I wrote a post the other day, just trying to point something out that, because everybody was talking about, since I've been joining the community, and we've been in the community over a year now.
Yeah.
About a year now.
Yeah. About a year and 5 months for me. So
okay. It's probably been a little over a year for me.
No, it's just been a year. Well, I say officially. I jumped
Gotcha.
in, but officially it's been just a year. I think I jumped in August of last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
About the same time. We were talking about a lot of, people talk about, well, who's hardcore, who's casual all the time. And I wrote a post the other day saying, hey, me being in this community kind of really opened my eyes a little bit, because to me, I was of the understanding for a long time that if you were a multiplayer gamer, you were a casual. So it's like I came into the community thinking everybody was a casual because nobody was playing multiplayer games. You know what I mean? At least not at that level. Like, you don't even have to be competitive with it. But if you weren't playing, and it doesn't have to be just Call of Duty or just Battlefield, or it's like you have a slew of multiplayer games that you play. You know what I mean? And I had the perspective that, if you weren't playing multiplayer games, you weren't a hardcore gamer. And then I saw everybody else saying, hey, talking about it, speaking to it, and everything else. And I was like, okay, well, I can understand why everybody else feels like they're more of a hardcore gamer. But for me now, I see it more as, because I forgot who made this point, but somebody made the point that I don't think anybody's hardcore. Because you're always going to have casual. But I don't necessarily think anybody's hardcore per se, just because hardcore people are typically the ones that are getting paid for it, right? Those are the ones, when you think of somebody who's hardcore, they're getting paid to play games, right? It's just like somebody who loves cars. You're an enthusiast. You're not a hardcore car guy. You know what I mean? You're a car enthusiast. I mean, sure, you could call yourself that, but let's be honest, Paul, who out there really calls himself a hardcore car guy? You know what I mean? You're an enthusiast.
Why are you coming at me like right now?
I mean, you're coming at myself.
I feel
too.
attacked.
I'm a car guy too. I'm a car guy too. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? But you're an enthusiast. On with that. It's enjoying the passion, and really speaking to the bigger picture, because that's what me and Paul always try to right? Uh, but again, you got the people in the background say, "Oh, you really care about other people's opinions or how other people feel or how other people look at
God.
gaming."
Oh God.
Oh
Here
no,
we
I'm
go.
not gonna go down the rabbit hole. Don't worry, no rabbit hole. No, there's no rabbit hole here. But
Okay,
we're not gonna go to Alice. It's not gonna be Alice in Wonderland. But but you have people who are really in tune to the self experience. That's how gaming typically is. But then you have people like me and Pong who like to speak to that bigger picture. Like we say all the time, we're trying to talk to the 3 billion people. We want more people to be involved in gaming. Again, we'll talk about it in a little bit. Gaming is bigger than it's ever been. Sony sitting at 10 million consoles sold. Xbox sitting right around 7 million sold. Switch getting to 100 million. You know what I mean? And the sales in gaming are just like going over and over and over year after year. And this last year has really proven it. If anything, it's something that everybody should go back and look at. You know what I mean? So that's the overall point that I wanted to make with that, man. And I'm just grateful to everybody who's here, who gets tuned in, who enjoys doing the podcast, who loves what we do. Paul made the comment earlier that, it seems like the third week in a row, we've been getting the consistent downvote. So somebody doesn't like what we do here, but they won't tell me.
The downvote went away, though, it looks like.
Oh, it did?
So,
okay.
Somebody took it back.
That's awesome.
Must have been a mistake, but
hopefully,
whatever. It don't matter. It don't matter. We're doing something right. We're reaching people. One way or another, we're out here reaching people, and it doesn't matter if you hate us and love us. We still appreciate the interaction. So it don't matter.
Exactly. That's the entire point. We can't grow if you guys don't let us know how we can grow. And we appreciate you guys that are here. We love that you guys are always coming in and engaged. That's the most amazing thing to me is that the people who come week by week. You guys aren't just sitting in chat saying nothing. Like we actually have a chat that is scrolling. It's not zooming or whatever the case might be, but it doesn't have to. But I can at least, see who's here. I can read through your messages, and I love the engagement that is here, man. So just to shout y'all out real quick, Dan the Man Cunningham, what is going on, my guy? Infinite, what's up? It's Timmy, what's going on? Last Emperor, much love, my guy. Geezer Prime, you already know what it is, man. Much love. Fat Boy Horror, Dirt Riggedy, what's going on, man? General C. Who else we got? Matt Bars. I always love when you're here every week, man. I appreciate the love that you show us. That's for sure. Who else we got in here, man? Lady Foxfire stopped in to say, hey, what's going on? Much love. Just Key, what's popping, my hey? What's going on? Pong Steel, what's popping? Who else we got? Alex was in here. Alex's Val.
Did you get Joe?
Joe Dunmore.
Yeah,
I know he was here. I know he was here.
Yeah.
So definitely want to shout him out. Back from the dead. What's going on, man? Psychonauts, he stopped in before he got back on the road. Stay safe, my bro.
Brother Chris and brother Peter from NLG stopped by.
Much love to them. And look, if you're still here locked in, tuned in, let us know in the chat. Say, yo, what's popping, my guys? And,
Psychonauts, my brother, he's going home today from his family, we'll call it vacation in Florida, and he's driving home today. So I'm sure he's probably listening to us all the way back to Ohio. Maybe we can get him the whole way there, Steel.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, we could cut that trip short for him. Just listening to our sultry voices.
Yes.
But yeah, and then other than that, I always also want to shout out to the midweek mix-up collection. Again, I want to try to do that every show from this point forward.
Not collection.
My fault. The collective. collective. We're collecting
we're a
something.
collection.
We're collecting something. The collective. You're completely correct. Shout out to the midweek collective. Midweek mix-up collective.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Wandering Dutch.
Say that 5 times.
I think he did it
fast.
on purpose. I think Dutch did that on purpose.
Mr.
Kima, we see you. Yeah, we
much
see
love,
you.
much love. But yeah, man, I just want to show y'all some love and the appreciation that you guys have shown and the support. With that being said, man, let's go ahead and get into these upcoming games, man. We got to let the people know because nobody else likes to let the people know what is going on within the gaming space, what games are releasing, what can you look forward to, and we do this week by week, man. We only let you know what's coming up within the next week. The Sly Crow, I see you. What's good? Last Emperor, I see you. But let's get into these upcoming games, man. What you got to tell us, Pong? What is going on with upcoming games, man?
Man, another huge week, especially on the indie side of things, man. We are just so blessed right now as gamers. It's absolutely insane what is happening. I cannot believe it. So we've got the week of August 9th coming up again using GameInformer.com / or forward slash, I should say, 2021. Again, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination because there is so much coming out. They are going to miss stuff, but we are going to use this one for this week. So first up on this list is Black Book coming out to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and the PC developer Morteshka and publisher Hype Train Digital. Now, this is an interesting little title. This I actually played during the demo, the ID at Xbox demo week, where they released like I don't know how many it was this year. I think it was like
quite a few. I think it was
plus,
like
40 plus,
I know it was at
like
least
that.
50 plus.
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy. 40, 50, 60, 70, it don't matter. They gave us a chance to play a lot of them. And I actually picked this one out of the group knowing nothing about it.
Really?
You know, I kind of read the descriptor. This is a cool little indie RPG based upon, I want to say, Scandinavian mythology, which isn't covered a whole lot. Now, you know, I'm not talking Norwegian, I'm not talking Viking, I'm talking Scandinavian. So there is a different mythology, but this is about the witch mythology, and making a pact with the devil to accomplish what you need to do. And it's about this girl who makes a pact with the devil, becomes a witch, and has to go and, you know, there's a whole story behind it in the world, but she, again, you can go ahead and fight demons and then bring them over to your side. And of course you can have their powers to help you out. Very cool little title. The style is very simplistic, simplistic style. The faces kind of bothered me. In fact, they were so simplistic. However, there's some beautiful, like the scenery, the environments with that style look gorgeous in some places. So I was actually enjoyed my time with this demo. So anybody's looking for something, you know, smaller scale RPG mechanics with card system. I forgot to mention that. It does have a card system as well. Go check out Black Book and take a look at it. It might be up your alley. I might jump back into it. Actually, that's how impressed I was with it and how much, how much fun I had with it. Acting is independent act. It's a small game studio. It definitely can tell. But again, doesn't detract from what the game is. I love indies, so I don't mind that stuff. Just overall, I had fun with the gameplay. So Black Book comes out on August the 10th. And then next up we have Button City. Don't know if I've heard this one.
There's
this
a
is
cutesy
an
game.
animal, cutesy animal game coming out PlayStation 5, coming out next gen. They don't even list 4 or Xbox One. It's PlayStation 5, Xbox
Switch.
Series console, Switch, and PC. Okay, cool. Haven't heard about it, but
next gen only.
Right. I know. Is that game gonna have ray tracing?
Ray trace cartoon characters in an artistic world.
Right. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, that comes out August 10th as well. Godfall, the game that could not be done anywhere but next gen PlayStation 5, is actually coming to PlayStation 4, shockingly enough. I can't believe Randy Pitchford lied. I can't believe that. But Godfall coming to PlayStation 4 also on August 10th.
Good game.
Lawn Mowing Simulator. Yes, that is right. Anybody want to go check that out? Jez had a couple funny tweets the other day from Windows Central yesterday. He was playing it and doing awful. But Lawn Mowing Simulator, I get enough of that in real life. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not picking this up. So,
what? So you don't want to put circles in the grass? You can tell
this
when
is
you
gonna be a streamer's delight. You know, there's gonna be people cutting all sorts of phallic things into the grass. You know what's coming, Steel. So this is gonna be a streamer's dream. But anyways, Lawn Mowing Simulator comes out to series consoles and PC. This is a console exclusive for Xbox.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Phil and his team putting in work.
Curb
Way to go,
Digital,
Sarah
shout out.
Bond. Yeah, you locking these down, man. Oh, all right. Lawn Mowing Simulator, Xbox Series
Shout out to
console,
y'all.
PC,
Much
August 10th.
love.
Yeah, much love. Glitch Punk is coming to PC on August 11th. Developer Dark Lord and publisher Daedalic Entertainment. Again, I'm all about cyberpunk stuff. I think this is a narrative driven one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it doesn't have any details.
Yeah, it doesn't have any details. I think it's narrative driven, but that's totally cool. I'm all about cyberpunk world. So if you're on PC, check that out. Icarus for PC on August the 11th. This is an adventure by Rocketworks.
Wow.
1 to 8 players.
See some of these pictures down here? It's a PvE survival game.
Yeah. It's looking it's
looking pretty nice.
It's looking pretty cool, actually. PC gets so many cool stuff. I can't wait until they start bringing more over to console, even though we have enough games as it is. I just want to try all these games, Steel. You know me. I can't stand it.
I know.
I see something like that and I'm like, cool, like a whole living world survival kind of game. I'm down. Let's try it out.
Instead of surviving in real life, go survive in the game.
Right, survive the game. I'd much rather try to survive in the game than in real life. Seed of Life is coming out. This is a puzzle game from Mad Light Studio, Leonardo Interactive. That is coming to PC on August the 11th. And then we have Art of Rally. Oh man, I've been waiting for this. I watched the Indie Gamer. Shout out to Indie Gamer. He has put me on so many games. The man is incredible, especially when he does his demos and he plays these games. I walked into his stream, 5 months ago. I clicked on one of the streams while I was at work and I saw this game, and me being a car fan, racing fan, I was like, Indy, what is this? And he's like, Art of Rally. I'm like, is it on console? Of course not. It's on PC. Of course. But he's like, but it's going to be coming to console someday. So I have been waiting on this game and it's finally dropping. And guess what? It's coming into Gamepass day and date, but it's also coming out for PlayStation 5, series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, been out on PC. Art of Rally. Go check this out. Again, simplistic style. Looks like a completely top down, almost old school RC Pro-Am kind of feels to it, but obviously upgraded real life cars, not like remote control cars or anything like that, but rally style, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I've been waiting on this.
I'm probably gonna beat the entire game once it comes out on Game Pass.
Good. I love to hear that, Steel. I didn't know if you were into Art of Rally yet or not.
Yeah, I'm into all types of racing games. Art of Rally seems cool. It seems like one of those games, especially after work, with kind of the weeks I've been having, retaining a lot of different knowledge and whatnot. It definitely seems like one of those games. I do the same thing with Forza too, but this seems like one of those games where I could just jump in, have a good time with it. If it has difficulty settings, put it on a harder difficulty and just have a good time. Just, drift around corners and see how fast I can really, get my time down. So sounds like a good time.
Exactly. Steel, how long would it take you to pull up that video I sent you on Foreclosed?
I already have it pulled up.
You already have it pulled up? Okay, because that's the next game. So if you want to pull that up. Hey, guys and gals, there's so many games coming out. Like, you can't keep up anymore. This one popped up on Twitter yesterday. And I was like, what is this? Why have I not heard about this game? So I got the Games Radar video that they showed gameplay of. Again, I don't know how I missed this game because usually I'm on top of cyberpunk games. But again, there's so much coming out. I think this is kind of where we're at now. If you can't spend 24/7 online just looking at new games coming out, you're going to miss stuff. So I want to bring attention to this game, because I watched the video from the gameplay video from Games Radar. This is a narrative-driven game. It's called Foreclosed. It is by Merge, and this is a narrative-driven action game. There is action to this game. You are going to be actually using weapons and cyberpunk abilities in this game. They've got all of that. It's coming out on everything. You name it. It's coming out on Stadia, for God's sake.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's coming out everywhere on August 12th. But the art style in this game is phenomenal. It's comic book mixed with anime it is beautiful. And so I just wanted to bring a little extra attention to this, and kind of show everybody what this game was about, because I think some of these games, like I said, if we don't look at how just, oh man, I just love it. I just absolutely love it. So again, Foreclosed is the game. It's coming August 12th. It's not in Game Pass or anything like that, but it's coming out on absolutely everything. So if you guys are more interested, go check it out. Games Radar did a whole blowout on it, which I didn't realize. IGN did a blowout on it. So there's been a lot of people out there showing it off, but I just haven't seen it. But this just looks absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to try it out. I'm legit, like yesterday I saw it and I'm like, you know what, this is added to the list instantly. So I just think it looks absolutely cool. So yeah, so that's Foreclosed. Let me get back to my list here real quick. God, I was just admiring the video right there again.
Are you good?
Because it just looks phenomenal to me. And then we got Naraka Blade Point from PC on PC. This is an action game coming out of 24 Entertainment as a developer. Natiz Games Montreal. Is it is coming to PlayStation 5 as well. But that has to be announced yet. So PC on August 12th. This looks like a cool game too.
Yeah, I actually played it.
Oh, did you? Oh
yeah, I got into the open, well, not the closed beta for it. And it is an interesting game. I thought the game was actually going to come to all consoles.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But apparently it's not. It's only coming to PlayStation and PC. And it's all right. It's basically a battle royale melee fighter. And it has a lot of good potential to it, man. You got the option for, you got a grappling hook, you pick up weapons, and it's all melee based, man. They do have some guns in there too, that actually, they fit. You know what I mean? For at least for the world and what they're doing. But it's kind of like an over-the-top melee-based battle royale kind of game, right? Okay. I do have some gameplay up on my channel for that, for Naraka Blade Point, if anybody wants to check it out. And where I'm giving my thoughts and opinions on the overall gameplay at the time that I was playing it. But I thought it was cool, man. It definitely needed work. When I was playing it, it didn't feel as crisp. Again, I play all my games with controller on PC, so. Right. At the time, the feel on PC wasn't all that great as far as controller wise, and I'm not going to switch the mouse and keyboard just to give it a shot. I'm so out of training for that I didn't want to take that chance on it and give it a bad run or a bad opinion. But I do got about an hour or so of gameplay up there on my channel if you guys want to check that out, get an opinion on it or whatever the case. If this is the first time you seeing it, you know what I mean. Other than that, it could be interesting. It definitely has some potential. We'll see how much people really are into it, man. Right?
Right. No, that's great, Steel. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you played it, man. I love that you tried some of this stuff because you are PCMR at the end of the day. So,
I'm a gamer.
Should I say you're an Xbox PCMR?
Okay. I'm an Xbox PCMR guy who also owns a Switch. That's just how life goes, I guess.
I know, right?
I hate that, but I'm a gamer.
I know. I hate the labels. You know that. All right. So that was Naraka Blade Point again, guys. So check that out. Oh, and then here's the big one. This is what we've been waiting for. This has been locked down to Switch and PC for so long, but we're getting it. Game of the Year, Indie, Hades is finally coming to PlayStation and Xbox. Of course, the big news is we get it on Game Pass. For those of you that are obviously enrolled in Game Pass, guess what? You get an absolute home run game dropping into Game Pass if you are into roguelike games. Okay. Again, that's not for everybody, and I get it. Steel, I don't even know if you're going to try this one out.
Well, Hades, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
after playing Death's Door, yeah.
Hades is your deal. Yeah. So Hades, again, I think everybody at this point has probably heard of Hades. Absolutely gorgeous game. The music is unbelievable. Again, the soundtrack for this game is just wow. Again, it's like up there with like the Dooms and that kind of soundtrack. It fits perfectly with the game. Supergiant Games, again, go get this game, download it. If you're into roguelikes, if you want a challenge, go play this game. Just take a look at the videos if you have not seen it. Like I said, I think most people here by now are going to have seen something on Hades because it took the game industry by storm last year. Again, coming out of Supergiant Games, won Game of the Year awards all over the place, and now we get it on finally on PlayStation and on Xbox and in Game Pass, which is a huge win for Xbox. They did have some issues with Supergiant Games in the past. It seems like the fences have been mended. Phil and his team has done a phenomenal job, and they got this game to come into Game Pass. So, Hades, this has been huge on my list forever. Again, shout out to the indie gamer. That's the first time I saw it because, of course, I don't own anything Nintendo. And he was playing this game on PC. And of course, I don't PC game. So, between those two, I didn't have the option to get this, but I watched him play this on his stream. And my God, I fell in love instantaneously. Just a little quick side note, I shouted it out last week as well. But if you guys are waiting on Hades this week and you want something to scratch that itch, Curse of the Dead Gods with dropped in the Game Pass, go check out Curse of the Dead Gods. Cloud, some people know him from GBTB Nation, who does play a ton of indie games himself. Cloud actually tweeted out, I had made a post about something yesterday in Cloud about Hades yesterday. Cloud said that he actually thinks that in his personal opinion, he might enjoy Curse of the Dead Gods even more than Hades. And he absolutely loves Hades. So if you guys need to scratch an itch, Curse of the Dead Gods, which is in Game Pass, is phenomenal as well. But Hades is something that a lot of people have been waiting on. Big, giant get. This is going to be huge at the end of this week. Again, I've been looking forward to it. Steel, you got anything more to say about it? Because
I mean, well, one thing I do want to say, it sounds like you got a little low right there for some reason. Maybe it was just me, but hey, people, let me know if Pong sounds like he might be a little low. Rescue Squad, what's going on?
I did those updates this morning,
there you
brother.
Go.
So
there you
never
go.
know
You
what's
sound
happening.
fine. You sound fine
Okay,
now.
All right. I probably was too far away.
Yeah, that might have been what it was. I am thoroughly interested in Hades. I was interested in it before. I've been debating on whether I wanted to get it on PC for forever. But again, the gameplay style is one of those things where it's not something that I necessarily would just jump into. Again, with my time, I value a lot of my time in the games that I get involved with. Like I talk with you in the background with all the time, Paul. It's like when I get into a game, I get fully involved in the game, and I want to fully play it and beat it, and I commit myself to it and everything. And it takes a lot for games to attract me. Death's Door was a game that I saw again from the Devolver Digital show that I just took a chance on, and I thought it was interesting. Bought it, had an amazing time with it. And so from Death's Door, I now have a supreme interest in playing Hades. And I've still been on that fence of, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I don't know if I'm gonna just wait till Game Pass. But it looks like, hey, the more and more I debate, the sooner it's gonna come out on Game Pass. So yeah, between the other games that I'm playing and everything right now, it'll probably end up being on Game Pass before I consider it again. And then when it drops, I probably will switch straight over to it. But I'm excited for it to come out again. Like you said, it's an indie game that was a runner for Game of the Year. Again, proving that point that indies drive the market also. Indies are able to, go outside of that box, do something a little different, and really catch the attention of a greater audience, man. And force, these first party developers or whatever the case, second party developers, whoever else who isn't technically an indie dev, to look at these games and say, damn, what do we need to do different? Because it's crazy when you have indie games that get announced and they're like, oh, it's a game of the year. You know what I mean? So
right.
It just gets me more excited to really test it out. I'm a sucker for like soundtracks and stuff like that. That was one of the number one things that attracted me about Doom initially. Is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack going in between and killing different enemies and everything. And Hades is pretty much the same way. And if it has any relation to like Death's Door as far as like the combat and everything goes, I actually think the combat and everything is a lot more expansive in Hades from everything that I've seen, which is going to be exciting for me because I'm all about that. But yeah, man, I'm excited to play it, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. And I am so happy this is finally coming. So yeah, no, like I said, another big week. Art Rally, Hades. Again, we are just so blessed that Foreclosed game that I pointed out. Again, games are just coming out at such a pace right now. It's unbelievable. And a lot of this stuff was supposed to be out last year, but got pushed. And a lot of people thought 2021 wasn't going to be the best year for gaming. Guess what? The second half of this year is going to be absolutely insane. We have already started to see it, and it's going to keep going here. So, get your fingers ready, because there's a lot of playing to be done out there. So can't wait. That's it for this week. Oh no, wait. No.
Got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. How could I forget? Steel. And I call myself a gamer.
Oh man, you got to talk about this one.
You have to talk about.
Let me get back to that screen.
Almost forget this.
Let me get back to that screen, because you have to talk about this one. You have to talk about this one. Look,
I don't even know if I'm going to have much to say, because again, it speaks for itself. So there's really nothing more to say about this, man. Paw Patrol, the movie Adventure City Calls.
Oh,
right?
man.
That's dropping this week.
Paw Patrol game? You gotta be excited for that.
Look, Hades is going back to the backlog.
Oh,
Hades
man.
is going
Put Hades in the
I would have to
backlog
put that
for Paw
down
Patrol?
for a while. Paw Patrol. Coming out for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, 1 to 2 player co-op.
It's a co-op game?
It's a co-op
we can
game.
stream it.
That's right. That's as long as I get to be the girl dog, I'm cool. Let's go.
As long as he gets to be the girl dog. That's funny. That's funny.
Truckar Studios, Outright Games, August 13th. That's right, people. Paw Patrol. If you guys don't have this pre-ordered, I feel sorry for you. I don't know what the bonuses were. I don't remember anymore, but I'm sure they were incredible. Paw Patrol, the movie, Adventure City Calls. Man, look for it on the 13th of August. And that is it. Your week of upcoming games right there, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it. Now I'm done.
we had to make sure that you guys got Paw Patrol. If you guys didn't know about that, anyway, I'm going to stop talking about Paw Patrol. We're not being serious.
We already gave it too much. I
tried. Unless you're really into that, I know there's people
unless
out
you
there.
have kids. Hey, I know about that stuff. So I definitely raised enough kids to understand. So
and I know there's people out there that like to play games for just specifically achievements, which is a whole different conversation.
I wonder what the achievements are like.
Achievement hunting, man. If you like the achievement hunt, shout out to you, man. Much love. I mean, there's people who take this stuff seriously.
Part of gaming.
And think that you have to have an achievement score to mount up to anything, but can't face you 1v1 in a multiplayer game. But that's neither here or there. With that being said, though, man, look, I think we got something else that we can definitely roll into again. I do have gameplay up of the Ascent in the background if you guys want to kick back and enjoy that as you tune into the Living Splitscreen Morning Show, where we go live 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time, man. Again.
And see, wait, hold on, Steve, before we roll.
Go ahead.
Back just popped up. He said, "Hey, Pong, so I've played the last 2 Paw Patrol games because my kids love the show." Dude, like I said, totally get it, man. Been there myself. I've done it. That's why I threw that in there, because being a dad myself, we're empty nesters now, but man, I went through all the younger years and played all the games that the kids wanted to play back then too. So totally get it back. Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, more power to you. And Rescue Corp, I see you said Lost and Random releases September 10th. Yeah, man. Our whole upcoming game segment, we do games week by week, just to let the people know what's coming up in your upcoming week of gaming. It's just something that we like to do differently, just to kind of more so highlight the games. You know what I mean? Gaming is art, and it should be treated as such. That's also why we do the This Day in Gaming segment at the end.
I think him and Geezer were having a little conversation there about upcoming games. So I think he just
okay. No, I just wanted to reiterate, just in case anybody who might be listening in. Again, we got people who listen to the audio platforms, and I just want you guys to know, the reason why we do this. You know what I mean? We try to be different from other people, not only with our energy and the conversation and the passion and the enthusiasm and and everything else, but we want to carry it into everything else, because I mean, we overall care about it, man. You know what I mean? Even though it might not be, near and dear to my heart for everything, I care about the overall picture, right? Getting to those 3 billion, talking to those 3 billion people, and not making it about any specific thing. Because here at the Living Splitscreen, we're a non-console centric platform. We talk about everything that's going on in gaming, whether it's on PlayStation, whether it's on Xbox, PC, Switch, on Nintendo. You know what I mean? Because they're all important, right? no matter we can argue all day about who competes with who and what games compete with what game. At the end of the day, we're always going to have different perspectives to come from. We're always going to have different conversations. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I had a mindset for a long time that if you weren't playing multiplayer games, you weren't a hardcore gamer. And at the end of the day, we're all enthusiasts, man. We enjoy the hobby. It's our passion. A lot of people have different things they like to do. If you like to draw, you know what I mean? We like the game. There's nothing wrong with that. With that being said, though, man, there was a game that actually just came out. Well, it didn't come out, but they released the beta for it, right? It was a closed beta.
That is correct, sir. Closed beta, early beta. That's what they called it, because they're going to have an open beta this coming week as well. So that's going to be big for a lot of people that didn't get into this round. So
facts.
Yep.
But there was a game that came out in closed beta that a lot of people are saying is Left 4 Dead 3. You know what I mean? But it's actually Back 4 Blood. Been made by the same devs, I believe, the same people that made Left 4 Dead. Made Left 4 Dead. Pretty much have their hands in this one also, and everyone's been saying some great things about it. So I definitely wanted you to talk a little bit about it before, because you got more of like the positive highlights. I'm not saying that I don't have anything positive to say about it, but I don't particularly have a huge interest in it. I was never a huge Left 4 Dead guy, and again, when I looked at it, it made me feel like I might as well just play Call of Duty Zombies. And I mean, that's just my perspective. And there's other games that I would rather play, but I do want you to talk to the people about what you experienced, what you liked about the game, and the overall potential that you think it might have.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead was a huge game for me. Both 1 and 2, I put a lot of hours, especially 1. 2, I definitely put some hours into as well. Me and the kiddo used to play it together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic game. Turtle Rock has done an incredible job. Of course, again, they're the original devs, for anybody who doesn't know of Left 4 Dead. And they actually got permissions from Valve to basically create Left 4 Dead all over again. They just had to use a different name. But they definitely brought back the old feeling of Left 4 Dead. They have updated it to modern style, because again, Left 4 Dead back in the day, if you played it, it was all about what made it popular was definitely the gameplay mechanics. It was the definition of multiplayer co-op back in the day. It set the bar really high for those style of games. That's why it became such a huge hit, especially starting out on PC, being a Valve game, obviously, and then coming over to consoles. It was phenomenal. And Turtle Rock has recaptured that same feeling, but giving it the modern spin. They have definitely set this up for a games of service style. And again, I know that name makes people cringe and some people even puke. But at the end of the day, that's where the industry, a portion of the industry has gone. And it makes sense for these developers to do this if they're going to create this style of game to keep people playing it and engagement and making money, which means that at the end of the day, we get more games from these developers as long as they're successful, right? So for me, I don't mind that at all. They didn't do it excessively. They've done it the right way, I think, with how they have kind of change how the game plays a little bit as far as your weapons, especially handling. You get now they have a much greater selection of weapons than they did back in the day. Basically, back in the day was assault rifle, shotgun, pistol, melee. Is your basic standard. And now they've added a lot more weapons into each one of those. They've got rarities on those weapons, and they've got attachments for the weapons, which definitely affects the rarity. I love it. The gun handling in this game is tight already. The beta definitely showed it. It felt really, really good. Sounds wise, it felt really good. It's not going to blow you away graphically. It's not pushing anything to the max in any way, shape, or form, but the environments themselves are very, they're detailed. I think they're just different enough from each other because they released the whole first act in the beta. So you got to play a lot, and they released a PvP as well. So you did get to try out a lot of the game. Love the characters. The characters are straight out of, Left 4 Dead old style characters. The one-liners are nonstop during the game. Love it. Again, it's a drop in, drop out style kind of co-op multiplayer where you don't have to play for long periods of times. It's one of those perfect games where you're playing something and all of a sudden, Steel hits me up and says, and I know Steel's not interested in this, but I'm just using him as an example. Steel hits me up in Xbox Live and say, "Hey, you want to drop in and play through an act or play through a couple rounds, of Back 4 Blood?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, quick resume, whatever, pause my other game, hop in." You don't have to commit a ton of time. The levels, take probably, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how big they are to complete. And you can hop out. It's awesome. And again, I think that what they did going back and making sure that they had the tight gameplay mechanics, the movement from the old Left 4 Dead updated, obviously, but again, making sure that was polished up and working really well, and then dropping in a ton of different zombie types, and giving you that dimension, as far as you're not feeling like you're shooting the same thing all the time. You do have to watch out for some of the, the boss zombies that do show up. You do have to be careful of them. And then they added a card system on top of it. And these card systems, you get to choose. I didn't quite figure it out yet. I know a lot of people got confused. They didn't really give you a tutorial on it, how it works, but basically the cards give you bonuses and all this kind of stuff. And some of them are team bonuses. Some of them are individual bonuses like health, stamina, all the regular stuff. But at the beginning of the match, I believe the deck kind of shuffles through itself, and like, the top card played is the one that you get to start out with instantaneously. You can find more within the levels to become active, but you can build your own deck, and you can build multiple decks for different situations. And that's what you choose, those decks when you start out a new act, or start a new scenario. So really enjoyed it. Really had a lot of fun. I think played for about, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours.
That was on roll
through, rolled through most of the first act. And just had a blast. Played some PvP. PvP needs some work. It's completely unbalanced right now. So the big, I forget what they call them, the big guys with the one big giant arm or whatever else, super OP. You can basically run, 3-4 people in there with those guys, and you can just grab people and hold them. And basically, if their buddies don't come help them, they're dead. Like it's like instantaneous. So we won our first PvP match that we went in there. We crushed. So it was pretty hilarious, but they need to fix that up. But it has potential to be a fun little kind of side deal. It's never going to probably be a main thing that everybody goes there for. Everybody's going to go there to play the co-op.
Right.
But the PvP gives you something a little different. So if you get sick of a little bit of co-op, you go hop into PvP and have some fun playing as zombies and as humans. Again, overall impressions, very positive. I'm planning on budgeting in, again, we'll see, there's so many games right now. I'm planning on budgeting in the Ultimate Edition for the season passes, because I think the DLC, if it's anything like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, the DLC was always huge. They always do a fantastic job of adding. It's well worth it. And I think this is going to be a game I definitely put hours into, despite the fact that there's going to be Halo, despite the fact there's going to be Battlefield. I can see myself jumping into this game a lot. So, that's my early impressions. I think it was great. If anybody's interested, again, it was early beta, but open beta starts the 12th this week, I believe. So everybody's going to be able to hop in and try out. It's got crossplay between Xbox, PC. I don't think PS5 is included in that, as per usual. But Xbox and PC are definitely definitely crossplay. So you're never going to have a hard time finding a match in this game. So go ahead, Steel. What are your thoughts? Because you said you had some thoughts on this thing.
No, I mean, it wasn't nothing over the top. That's why I really wanted you to carry it away. Sly Crow had a question for you though. He was like, he asked you, what was the PvP like, or what the team?
Yeah, so the PvP is basically set up two teams of 4, and you kind of flip. So they've got a level, and one side is the zombies, and you get to choose from your zombies, and you can upgrade your zombies as well with points
Okay.
that you earn in the match, right? So you can upgrade them. So you get to pick from the different boss zombies, and then the other team is obviously the humans. What happens is in the beginning of the match, basically they give the humans time to go ahead and scavenge for weapons and scavenge for different items, and they got to choose out. They get to move around the level. You, as the zombies, actually get to see them moving around. Okay, this is the strange part. This is what's a little different. So you can follow them out. You're like in ghost mode, and you can follow them around and see what they're doing.
Oh wow.
And so they get to do the scavenging part, and then they get a short period of time to set up. Right. So if they want to, what we did is we picked out one building that we thought would be easy to defend, and we set up. It worked out really well. We put up some barbed wire and stuff, and it actually we wound up. It was great. But you get to watch them while they're doing this as the zombies. Then when the match starts, the humans not only have to fight you, but there's also waves of regular zombies that come, regular fodder that come through, right? And so the humans are at a big disadvantage. That's why I said they got to balance this. So they're fighting off all that stuff while you get to spawn in anywhere on the map, even right behind them if you are hidden.
Wow.
If they can't see you, if you're not in line of sight, or anywhere close by, you can spawn in anywhere. So you can spawn in on the roof, you can spawn in around a corner from them. If they can't see you, it tells you, obviously it highlights and says, okay, spawn, right? And you can hit the button and you spawn in as a boss zombie.
Oh wow.
So then you battle it out, and it's time. So the human side of things are trying to survive for the longest period of time that they possibly can. And that goes against, and then you flip sides. And then, if you were the zombies, you flip sides, and your job is to try to survive longer than the other guys did. And if you survive for longer, you win that round, and it goes for 3 rounds. Okay. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. Once you get through one round of 2, then you move to a different area of the map. So everything kind of changes up. Same thing occurs, and it's best of 3, obviously. So whoever can survive for the longest is the name of the game. Okay. And so yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Like I said, completely unbalanced. I mean, it was ridiculous, but it was fun.
It sounds like it definitely could be pretty dope, man. Definitely sounds interesting. Again, like I said, I'm the only thing I really wanted to touch on it is me not being a Left 4 Dead fan.
Yeah.
Or just not be, the whole zombie thing, man, it's becoming extremely played out to me. I want to see some vampires, man. I want to see some werewolves, man. I want to see something different. You know what I mean? And again, just going back to the whole not being much of a Left 4 Dead fan, I guess that's why I'm not really interested in this either. Again, I was looking at y'all's gameplay, I looked at other people's gameplay, and I was like, oh, it looks interesting. Even when I saw it originally, when they announced it or whatever the case, I was like, yeah, it looks interesting. I was even debated on playing the beta or whatever. But it just makes me feel like I'd rather play Call of Duty Zombies. I know me and you played that zombie mode in Call of Duty, and we were having a magnificent time with that.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like it has that same expansiveness, but potentially it does. I mean, and it's different.
It's completely it's different.
Right,
it's just
right,
a different. It's more of a story mode than Call of Duty. Okay. I mean, Call of Duty has the story, and I kind of enjoyed that one. But this one is just more that character kind of story, kind of comedy. It's lighthearted. It's not like serious. I don't know. It's just a different feeling game. You're right. It's closer. It's tighter. It's not as open as the Call of Duty Zombies is now. It's just a tighter experience. It's again, it is. If you were a Left 4 Dead fan, you're absolutely going to love this. Although I did see some people say they didn't like it as much as they thought they would.
Yeah, I
they
saw
were
that
Left 4
too.
Dead fans. I think some people were expecting it to be a little bit more than it is. They basically straight up took Left 4 Dead and just modernized it a little bit.
Everybody really keeps saying that it's literally Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're into that, it just makes me feel like I'd rather play a different game. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, again, everything doesn't have to be for everybody. There's so many other things to play, you know what I mean?
Steel, I can't do this show with you anymore. Sorry.
Hey man,
you're not gonna like this game.
hey man, if Back 4 Blood is gonna be the cutting point, I guess we might as well do it early. No, but yeah, man. I mean, but that's what also makes it great. The different opinions, the the objectiveness, being able to again. One of the points that I just wanted to come in with is something that I always say is being able to don't let people tell you that you can't be interested in a game without playing it. You can obviously. I'm now. Everybody's different. Again, that's the other thing that you got to know. You have to know who you are as a gamer, what you're into, what your interests are, uh, where you typically line up as far as what you want to game, what games that you like to play, and fortunately, I know. Not only that, but time is a valuable resource. And like I was saying earlier, when I dive into these games, I go head first. And if the game doesn't give me the feeling of me just jumping in head first, I'm like the complete opposite of Pong, which is also what makes this great is because Pong likes to dive into everything. I'm very bougie, as we like to say, or very picky, as I like to say, about the games that I want to play. And it has to pull my full attention because I dedicate time to the game. Taking away time from many other things or other titles that I would maybe want to play. That was just my overall point with it. Just
Cool.
be confident with what you are as a gamer, man. Again, I'm always going to preach that. If you're into it, again, I can see why people who are into Left 4 Dead think this is good. This is fantastic. Left 4 Dead is a cult classic. There's so many people. Hey, actually, not that long ago, I want to give this story too. That was going to be part of it. I was in GameStop, and this group of kids came in. I know they were definitely at least 10 years younger than I am, and I'm 29. And they came in and talking about, hey, did you hear about that Back for Blood game? Oh yeah, man, we gotta get together. We gotta get that. That thing dope. That's like one of the #1 games I'm hyped for right now. So it's like there's definitely an audience for it. You know what I mean? There's people who are very interested in it, people who got buddies or whatever the case might be, want to get in there and just see who can survive the longest. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the whole thrill about the game. You get in there, see how long you can survive. So, talk shit about your buddy who gets downed all the time. You know what I mean? And make those
who
fun
sets off the horde all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Mav, I see you in there. Yeah, I did that multiple times. Everybody was getting mad. No, and plus it's in Game Pass. So if you are part of the Xbox ecosystem and you've got Game Pass, it's no risk, no foul. It's just it doesn't hurt you to try it. And again, who knows, Steel? You might even pop in every once in a while if I get you on it.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't try it out. It's just like Second Extinction. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's funny because that game actually fell off.
It fell off hard. We were talking about that last night. Second Extinction was so much fun.
Potential. It definitely had potential, but it's just like so that. You know what I mean? Second Extinction was cool, but it was just like, it got to a point where it's just like, damn, man, I don't know. I'm not feeling it as much as I thought I was feeling it. And if you're into it, you're gonna be into it, man. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's Back 4 Blood, man. I'm glad you guys were enjoying it. Glad it was scratching that itch. That it's the Left 4 Dead 3 that the people kind of were thinking it could have been. So there's that. With that being said, what else we want to talk about? I know there was some numbers that were getting thrown out about who just sold 5 million copies in Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that would be the Ascent, of course. Neon Giant, the biggest debut for Curve Digital ever. So yeah, $5 million they made.
They made five. They made 5 million.
They made 5 million out the gate. They made 5 million out the gate. That's a big number because, as we know, Steel, a lot of people like to say, again, it's an Xbox console exclusive. It's in Game Pass. It is on PC as well, of course. But a lot of people like to downplay Game Pass and say that it causes people to not buy games and that people don't support the games that are in Game Pass. And we've had plenty of examples that just simply isn't the case. Now, am I saying that across the board? Of course not. But again, Game Pass gives the opportunity for people to try a game. And if they like it, a lot of us buy it. Again, me as a budget gamer, is that true for everything? No, I wish I had all the money in the world. I would buy every single game. I'd support every single developer, but real life is what it is. So at the end of the day, it gives me an opportunity to buy a game, but I tend to buy games that I would not have normally bought just because of Game Pass. I tend to find new games that allow me to support smaller developers. And again, when I say support smaller developers, I support them just simply by playing it in Game Pass. People lose
Right.
that. They lose that every single time that they always want to say either you got to buy a game to support a developer or you're just renting it out of Game Pass and the developers not getting any benefit. That's not true. They've talked about it a million times. Game Pass is set up contractually wise to be unique for each individual developer. Some of them get money up front. Some of them get help with marketing. Some of them get, a mixture and get paid for how many downloads there are, how many, how long somebody spent in the game. Again, there are so many different ways that they can get paid for this, depending on the contract. The Game Pass is not hurting the developers. This is all optional. The developers choose to come into Game Pass. They are given the option. They don't have to come in there. They don't ever have to put their game on Game Pass. They don't have to become an Xbox console exclusive. These people are choosing it for a reason. Obviously, they see the benefit and they want to do it. So again, that narrative has got to stop. And I was happy to see that Curve Digital came out and announced that they had $5 million. They had made $5 million in the first week of sales. And that shows, again, yes, people were buying it on PC. It was definitely a Steam favorite. But at the same time, and but it also at the same time, that means that people were also buying it out of Game Pass. Even if they had Game Pass, they were still buying the game. Or the people out there that still just don't have Game Pass, were buying it as well. Xbox has proven time and time again that this model is working. It is beneficial for Xbox. It is beneficial for the developers. It is beneficial for the publishers, and it is beneficial for the consumers, us, the gamers, right? Yes. And they've proven that time and time again. They will continue to do this. It's not going away, anybody. So all you naysayers out there who want it to die off, it's not going anywhere. This is here for the long haul, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue to prove things. Again, just another proof too that we had this week. I believe Steel forgot to post it, but Sony came out about, I don't know if it was this week. I think Sony came out about MLB The Show. Said it was the biggest selling MLB that they've had. Yep. Right. And they avoided saying Xbox in any way, shape, or form. All they said was our decision to put it on other platforms.
Other platforms, huh?
Yeah. Well, guess what? That's Xbox and Game Pass. So Sony themselves came out and said they've had the biggest year that they've ever had for MLB because they decided to make it or they didn't decide, but we know the story. But anyways, it went multi-plat, and that includes Game Pass. Guess what? Right. People playing MLB The Show, and I've seen a lot of people out there playing MLB still loving it. Guess what? They're putting money into that team or whatever it's called that they have in there. I forget what their mode is called, but they're putting money in there. Even if they're playing it off of Game Pass and not buying it, they are still, Sony got paid for that, and they're getting paid on the back end because people are buying the packs of cards and all that kind of stuff to build up their show. So guess what? We had two more examples this week of why Game Pass works. What do you think, Steel? Do you think this means something? Are you happy to see it? What's going on?
Hey, I'm excited to see it. Again, it just proves the point. I want to throw this out there too, because it's something that that's Dark 1985 is somebody that I like to watch the video because I think he's a funny dude. He just be spitting facts. He considers himself a kind of like a casual in between gamer, right? Yeah, he likes gaming. He likes to get the best bang for the buck, right? And he brought up this like big point that I kind of wanted to bring into here, is that Game Pass is actually evolving gaming. A game like the Ascent coming out and making $5 million his first week, you can say, oh, it's not that big of a number or whatever the case. I mean, but to be completely honest, man, it is. It shows that people still support. It shows that people are more willing to buy games, and it doesn't necessarily fit that mantra that people keep saying that, oh, it's just some Game Pass fodder. Oh, you just rent games. And people are buying more games than they ever have before. I've always said one of the number one things that Game Pass has done for me is allowed me to go back into games that I would have looked over because, again, like you said, Pong, if I had all the money in the world, I probably would buy every game. You know what I mean? But I also have this thing with me personally where I don't like buying games that I'm not going to play. Now, have I? Yeah, of course. We all have. You know what I mean? You spend that first hour in the game and you get caught up in it, and then you drop it for whatever reason, right? Game Pass has allowed people to jump into something that's kind of risk-free, quote unquote. Yeah, you're paying 10 to 15 bucks a month, right? But you're getting access, again, like I always say, we're going into the accessibility era. The golden age of gaming is the accessibility era, giving you access to games that you otherwise would have looked over. I could not tell you 100%, other than, we've had conversations in the background on whether or not I would have bought the Ascent. But the fact that it was on Game Pass and I was able to download it for free, why not? Right? It's one of those things to where I had an interest in it, and because it was on part of my service, I can just download it, try it out. If I have a good time with it, I'm having a good time with it, and come to find out, we're having a good time with it. There's so much available. There's so much, not necessarily availability, but there's so much good in what Game Pass is doing for gaming, letting people who aren't necessarily part of our community, the hardcore, or as I now like to call it, the what did I say earlier? The enthusiasts of the community, or whatever the case, the enthusiasts that we are, who are invested in this. It give other people the chance to come in and say, oh, that game's on Game Pass, let me try it out. That otherwise would have not invested into it. Therefore, putting more money into the ecosystem, therefore paying for those bigger games that everybody says that, oh, gaming is costing more than it ever has. And people come up with all these reasons why Game Pass can't be successful because the dev isn't making enough money. It's like you're getting proven wrong time and time again, and people try to compare it to other mantras like Netflix or Disney or anything else, and it's not even the same thing.
Right.
Gaming is the biggest entertainment business. It is completely different from anything else. Once you watch a movie or watch a TV series and your other subscription services, you can put them down. Do you? No. 9 times out of 10, you forget about it.
Right.
I can't tell you the last time I paid for Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, any of that. No matter how I have it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at this point, I don't even think about those things anymore. Why can't gaming be of that same aspect? I'm not saying that every game has to be in Game Pass. It doesn't. Or every game has to be in some kind of subscription mantra or whatever the case. It doesn't. But why not give people more of an accessibility? Again, we want more people within our ecosystem. If we're capped out between PC and console games at 500 million players, y'all have to understand that. We are capped out at any particular generation at 500 million players. If we want to expand that, we have to give people more accessibility options. No, I'm not talking about, easy modes and whatever. That's a whole different conversation. I'm talking about just giving people an access to games.
Right.
Why can't, it's like, my thing is what I always try to ask people when they give you that pushback about Game Pass is like, why can't Sony do the same thing? What would be so bad about that? Why would it make it worse for gaming? I don't think that it would be. Spider-Man can still be out for a year and you pay for it, $70, and then a year later, it's in the subscription service. Guess what? You're going to get more engagement. Everybody's going to buy the DLC.
Yep. Exactly.
People are going to be willing to spend more money.
Yep.
Because that's just how it works. You talk to your consumer. And I feel like that is so missed by so many people. And I don't understand why people can't see that. Maybe it's because y'all don't have experience with customer service. Maybe because y'all hate people. Hey, I don't like people myself, but not everybody. But in that same breath, I'm able to look outside of my box, or the box, I should say, more so, and say, hey, how are other people looking at this? How can
you're not supposed to care about other people? Stop it.
And unfortunately, it's unfortunate that some people feel that way. that, oh, we're not supposed to, that people like me and you, Pong, aren't supposed to care about other people or what other
Right.
people think or how other people are looking at it. If I were just having a one-sided conversation about what I particularly care about, we would have a short conversation. Because I
Right.
can tell you all day, or we can just sit here and argue what I like over what you like. But how is
Right.
that any different than arguing over you liking a BMW, or for example, I'll use this as a better example, you liking the Lancer Evo, even though we both like the Lancer Evo, and me
Just leave Lancer out of it. Just say
and me liking the GTI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, we can sit here and have an argument about that all day, but are they both good cars? Yeah. Are they both can do they both have a lot of potential for modifications and, you know, being the best car that you could possibly want it to be and everything else? Yeah. Why can't our subscription service, especially in gaming,
Right.
give people the option to indulge, give people the option to be willing to spend more money, especially with the ecosystem being the way that it is right now. We got this variant out there. We got the Delta variant. We got the Lima variant. We got the Zeta variant. There's so many other things going on, and people are more and more diving into gaming than they ever have. And it could be part of one of the bigger reasons, but why in that same space, just more access, allow people to play games that they might have not played before, or might have thought about playing before, or might have just skipped before. I'll always use the example, games like Dead Space or games like Mass Effect that people have played back in the days, I skipped over because it was games. If it didn't have a multiplayer tied to it, probably wasn't going to play it. Where now I can go through my back catalog, download any game in my back catalog that I possibly was interested in before, or buy it if I want to, even if it's not in that service. Because nowadays, when I got games like the Ascent, and I got games like Halo, when I got games like Flight Simulator, when I got Forza coming in, other games that I care about, dropping into a service that I don't have to spend X amount of dollars for, I got dollars and funds for whatever else that I might be wanting to get into. And I feel like that far outweighs this whole mantra of, you don't support the dev. And it's like, look, you're arguing unvalid points and points that this has never been done before. And you're trying to compare it to you're trying to compare it to movies, you're trying to compare it to TV, all these other things that you can drop and put down, but you don't. And you're saying that Gamepass can't do the same thing, or some other game service can't do the same thing for you, and you're actually going to be more involved with that game service than you would be TV. Like me and you, Paul, it's like we don't watch TV like that.
Oh.
The time that people spend time, watching TV, we spend playing games. Right. That's the whole difference. It's like the whole difference. And I don't understand people constantly fighting against this thing, and in games like the Ascent are just continuing to prove people wrong.
People don't like change, Steel. It's always hard for people to envision change. And yeah, there's the extremists, there's the fanboys out there that just downplay it because they don't want to see it succeed because it's on a competing console to their favorite platform, right? That's the extremist. But we saw Take-Two's CEO come out and kind of downplay Game Pass and say it wasn't viable, much like we've heard from Sony's camp, that it wasn't viable for the frontline games, right? That it was better for a catalog games than it was for your day one AAA home runs, first party stuff. And again, from their standpoint, I understand why they say that. Again, when you're talking about Take-Two that puts out a game now, once every, besides, obviously the 2Ks, but, when we're talking about Grand Theft or we're talking about, Red Dead, you're talking about a game coming out every, 6, 10, 12 years probably for GTA at this point. It doesn't make sense from that standpoint because they're going to sell hundreds of millions of copies, or they're going to sell, 50 million copies in the first 6 months. So from that standpoint, I totally understand why, but the overall general consensus when it comes to new services like this is to doubt their viability, to doubt that they're viable, to doubt that they're going to be able to make their mark. Again, remember, Netflix offered to sell to Blockbuster back in the day.
Facts. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They offered to sell themselves to Blockbuster, and Blockbuster said, nah, we're cool.
See where Blockbuster's at now.
Where do you see Blockbuster lately?
In Alaska,
So,
the last
right,
store.
right. So we've got examples of this time and time again in history, especially in the tech side of things, that people don't see how something's going to work. People doubted Facebook when it first started, right? People didn't think that after, MySpace was dominating. What's Facebook going to do? Well,
Right.
Facebook became
The number
pretty
one,
big.
number one
Pretty
social
big
platform.
deal. Again, I don't use Facebook anymore. I pulled myself away, 6-7 years ago. And I know a lot of people are right now, but what I'm saying is at the time, nobody thought it was going to be able to make its mark. And guess what? Facebook changed the game, right? And so we see this all the time, and it's really hard for people to sometimes have a vision outside of the standard, the status quo. They have a hard time, especially when something's been working for so long, like we've seen in the console market and video game industry. The system has been the way it's been, with very little deviation. We've seen the coming of the digital age. We've seen the coming of people buying more digital than they are physical, which a lot of people never believed was going to happen. There's a lot of doubters that digital was going to take over. Guess what? It now is. I think Sony's last numbers that they put out for their sales was over 70, or was it 80% digital,
so,
70% digital, something like that, versus physical. Again, this always happens. And I think it just takes somebody to be that leader, somebody to be that first person out the gate that trailblazes. And again, is Xbox using a model based upon something that has already succeeded? Yeah, they're using the Netflix model. Mm-hmm. Is it exactly the same? No, it's not even close, because in Netflix, you can't buy those movies. Netflix, you don't get to buy DLC or add-ons, right? There's not all these other things, additional sources of income. That's why you saw Netflix struggle so mightily, because again, they are locked into whatever content comes out. If it's not good content and people aren't engaged with it, they don't have any other means to draw in people. They don't have any other means to get money back from that. Whereas if a game comes out in Gamepass, let's say, and let's just say it's not even the greatest game, but you still have, let's say 1 million people play it, but it's not a great game. So now all of a sudden you got 50,000 people playing it instead, right? Those 50,000 people that actually like the game are probably buying DLC, probably doing things. You're still getting money back for that content in some way, right? You're still recovering funds versus, Netflix's model. So no, it's not the exact same model, but they're using an established model that has worked. They have adapted it for the video game market, and they've already proven through the numbers that it works. Now, is Microsoft making an absolute fortune off of Game Pass right now? No, they're probably not. They're probably close to breaking even.
Well, Phil has come out and said, though, just in a rough,
it's profitable, but how? Yeah, it's profitable, and I believe that. I believe that it is profitable. But what I'm saying is what they're spending on the back end, and what they're, the future contracts they probably already signed for content. Mm-hmm. If you take all that in, they're probably close to breaking even, making a little bit of money. Maybe. But at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. It's the long-term play, and they know that. It's not short-term gain. It's that long-term, and they're looking at where this goes when they hit 30 million, when they hit 50 million, when they hit 100 million subscribers. At that point, that's when you're banking money, right? That's when the coffers are filling back up again faster than you can spend it. And I think that's what they look at here. And that's what Netflix did, because we've seen Netflix, for as much debt as they had to take on, they now are spending $400 million on movies, right? On one set of movies, right? For Knives Out, I believe it was 400 million.
Yep, I believe so. Same thing with Stranger Things and whatnot.
Yeah, Stranger Things as well. Yeah, exactly. So that's the long-term play, but Microsoft is a much better position. They have the infrastructure, as we've talked about numerous times. They have the servers already in-house. They don't have to pay for them. They have one of the best server systems out there in the entire world at their fingertips, and it doesn't cost them anything because it's Microsoft. It does not matter. So they are already ahead of the game. They already have all the advantages that the other players don't have. And that's also a part of the doubt, because a lot of these people when they look at this system of Game Pass, They have to factor in outside costs that
Right.
Xbox simply does not have to factor in. It's already there,
Right.
and they don't have to worry about it. And that's, again, it puts them in a very unique position to be the trailblazers in this way. Again, at the end of the day, do I ever think that we'll see a Take-Two game? A day one, day and date, like
Probably
a Grand
not.
Theft Auto 6? Probably not.
I mean, Take
No.
Two's already said that they want to make
Yeah.
that money off of y'all. I mean, you see,
No.
you see
I mean,
what they're
not like,
doing with GTA.
again, Phil and Satya could show up and basically hand them a blank check and just say put in a number. And again, if Take-Two put in $1 billion and Xbox was like, okay, all right, we'll do that.
Yeah, facts.
Then I could see it happening, right? But realistically, no, they don't need to. They don't have to, and that's okay. That, again, that's why when everybody says Game Pass could destroy the industry, no, because it's not. It's a game changer from the standpoint of accessibility. It's a game changer from the standpoint of the smaller devs and publishers who now have access to a gigantic pool of people instantaneously, where before they would have been fighting for attention. They now have the potential to walk in to a pool of 20 million, 30 million, 50 million down the road, whatever it is,
Right.
and have their game seen by a lot more people than it ever would have before. Whereas the big boys in the industry are still going to be there. All those people, they don't have to do that because they already have the mind share. They already have the namesakes. They already have the IP that instantly draw that same number of people day one that buy it. And so they don't have to worry about it. But what it has done is expand the opportunity for a lot of people in this industry to jump in, and indie developers, especially, as we're seeing, are absolutely loving Game Pass. Joe Winters talked about it on multiple shows now. Song of Iron is not in Game Pass, but he said, I'm waiting for the phone call. If they make the phone call, I'm all in, right? Because he understands the benefits of that. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. So
It's engagement, man. Right? We want to, like we keep reiterating, man. We want to be able to expand our ecosystem. We want to be able to pull in more. If being the number one form of entertainment isn't enough, because we still don't get recognized as that. We can still get recognized as some kid's toy people waste time on, but people not knowing there's the biggest flux of money in this industry, right? Coming in and going out. People constantly spending money. People are competing with gaming. You see, like with Fortnite, funny enough, Fortnite is getting celebrities and putting whole concerts within their game. As much as I do not support Fortnite, because I feel like they're biting off of what's popular. They're ankle biters, man. Like, I just don't get it, but they're able to reach an audience that otherwise wouldn't have been touched. And it constantly grows. And that's what it's about. It's like, as much as I might not like Fortnite or whatever the case might be, because for whatever reason, I'm not going to tell the next person that they should not play. If you're into it, try it out. And if you love it, play it. It goes back to that whole mantra that Pong always says, play what you love and love what you play. Because that's what it's about. Be yourself, know what you're into, know what you stand for as a gamer, and let's help this industry grow. Let's be passionate. Let's talk. Let's have these conversations. We don't have to agree on everything. That's why these conversations keep happening. People want their, first party, AAA bangers, as people like to call it.
Stop.
You know what I'm saying? Or high class games, or whatever you want to call them. But those aren't always the games that are going to make this industry take it to that next level. Again, like we talked about earlier, indie games, or these indie devs that are now becoming like second and first party devs, are helping the industry move forward by doing things and taking chances that otherwise they wouldn't have been able to do. When you see people like Ubisoft doing the same things over and over again and coming out and saying, oh, we want to focus on, making more of on multiplayer games. We want to focus on what works for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you have those types of things going on, when the bigger companies are scared to really adventure, who's going to push it forward. And so far from what we're seeing, people coming to Game Pass, and it just takes that ball and kicks it over the fence. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're gonna continue to see how this grows. I'm constantly excited. What makes this so exciting for me is that we're in unsailed territory.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I've reiterated in the past, Xbox for the first time in their gaming history is in front of the ball.
Right.
What are they going to do with it? Can they be consistent? Will they take it to the next level? Or will the more popular system, with a more popular console, with a more popular games, or the games that people spend millions of dollars in, like GTA Online, thrive more in this existence?
This generation is
this generation is going to be it's going to be amazing. It's badass. Like there's so much potential in it. There's so many different ways that we could talk about it, right? And it's just interesting to see. And I feel like those are the better conversations for us to be having, rather than arguing about what makes us hardcore casual, or what makes us a better gamer than the other guy, or who's spending more money than this other person. Like, right. I don't get that, because it doesn't do anything for anybody. You know what I mean?
Nope.
You know, let's enjoy your passion, enjoy the hobby, keep it live, raw, and uncut, like I always say. And again, that's why we have a non-console centric platform. Because we just love, we love to display our passion through gaming, and I feel like me and Pong can see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? And there's others out there who see it too. But
there's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. But you know, you guys in the chat, I mean, a lot of you guys, y'all see the bigger picture. And you might not agree with everything that we say, and that's not the point. We don't want you to agree with everything. Holla at us, talk to us. Let's have a conversation, because we can't elevate the conversation to the next level if we all don't get involved and take it beyond, and take it, you know, get out of our own ass, you know, for lack of a better term, or get out of our own head at least, and try to look at the bigger picture. Gaming could be a selfish experience, all it wants to be, but I feel like if you can at least remove yourself and look over, you know, the entire scene. Kind of pull yourself like into outer space, like look at the globe of how everything is moving. You're missing out on the bigger picture, and I feel like that's the bigger problem. But yeah, man, there's a lot of potential. I'm excited again. Game Pass seems to continuously push that ball forward, and I'm interested to see what this generation is going to do as we get into that 5-year mark, right? Halfway, 4 years, 5 years. You know, the beginning of the year, into last year, people were saying, oh, 2022 is going to be dead. And now, as we move further into this year, 2022 has gained more of a lineup. And then people were like, oh, now we got to wait till, like, there were so many conversations, oh, we're going to have to wait till 2023, 24 to get games. And now it does not look like that at all. That conversation is flipped on its head now.
The second half of this year is so stacked that there's games moving out into 2022. There's games moving out into spring, and I know they're using the polish thing and all that kind of stuff, but there's a couple games that have moved already that it's like, yeah, no, you guys just kind of want to avoid this the holiday lineup, because Halo, Battlefield, you know, Forza Horizon 5, it's a big lineup on top of all the indie games coming as well. It's crazy. So there's a lot going on.
And those are facts, man. Well, with that being said, man, I mean, it's an exciting times. And what else do we want to talk about, man? We talked a little bit about Back for Blood. We talked about what the Ascent has done. Game Pass.
I want to go to speculation town a little bit, Steve.
Okay, what you got for us?
There was a rumor that popped up yesterday that probably not a lot of people caught, unless you're following the man who kind of put it out there. And again, it's just all rumor. Again, no concrete, no inside information, no nothing. And he made that clear. But this guy does have a pretty good track record. I've been watching him for some months now. And it's Skullsy. For those of you who don't know, go check out his channel. He is well worth it. If you're into Bethesda, if you are into Elder Scrolls, if you're into Starfield, if you are into any of that, go follow Scalzi. He's a great dude, super genuine guy. And he does have a lot of knowledge about Bethesda stuff. Again, he claims to have some contacts. Some people, have tried to call him out on it, but he's proven himself, as much as most people have in this industry, to possibly have some stuff. But he creates some great videos. He deep dives. He studies. He looks for clues and hints and puts things together about some stuff, coming up, whether it is Elder Scrolls, whether it is Starfield, whatever the case may be. He does have a lot of knowledge on Bethesda and its comings and goings, and really good at what he does. So Scalzi yesterday put out a tweet, and he started out by saying, heard a rumor about Bethesda opening a new studio that focuses on remasters or remakes. Might be called Artifact Studios. Not sure if this is legit or not, but heard it a couple times now, so makes me wonder. That was his first tweet. A little bit later, he puts out, remember, this is a rumor. I do not know if this is true. I just heard it from a couple random but unrelated places, so makes me wonder if there is something to it. And then he followed it up. So this recent rumor seems to be blowing up. So let me clarify. I did not hear this from one of my standard sources. I did hear it from numerous people, some fairly trustworthy. The source of this actual rumor is a dev in a conversation slipped up and mentioned this. And he went on to say, so while Todd Howard did specifically say he never plans on doing remakes, that all changed with Skyrim's various versions sold so well. Combine that with the fact that the recent rumors about a new Bethesda studio, and I can't help but hope that there is some shred of truth to this. Until then, please consider this a rumor, not some inside source stuff. Don't get your hope up for a topic that is currently unverified. So again, made it crystal clear. This is just something that came out of the blue, kind of heard about it a couple times from different people and just kind of put it out there. But from my side of things, Steele, why I kind of wanted to talk about this, why I think it's interesting is because we've talked in the past, right? We talked about.
I want to introduce the mayor of Speculation Town the proper way, right?
Yes, I am the mayor of Speculation Town over on Xbox Factory Podcast.
We're stepping into Speculation Town.
Yes,
Mr. Boomstick himself is the president.
Yes.
Of the country of speculation. But you are the governor, the mayor of Speculation Town.
Yes. I am.
So tell the people, tell them, man, what's up?
We take tours frequently there. It's always sunshine. It's always 70s. It's always blue skies with rainbows, and there are bunches of unicorns running around.
There you go.
When we headed to Speculation Town, it is always a good time because we are always looking for the positives when we go into Speculation Town. So here's the deal. I just think it's very interesting because we have talked about the gigantic catalog of IP that is just sitting there unused. And this is across the industry.
Yes.
This is everywhere. Now, it seems like Sony has definitely made waves by taking some of their back catalog and starting to do remakes with them. They've done it for a while now, and they've done it to great success. And I think that they are pushing forward with more of that thought process because of that. And obviously, Blue Point is it's not their studio officially, but they have worked hand in hand with Blue Point for a very long time. For those of you that may not know, Blue Point is a studio that has been solely focused on helping people do ports and remakes, remasters, whatever.
Right.
And so they started out in 2006 with Blast Factor on PlayStation 3. They did the God of War collection for PlayStation Vita and for PlayStation 3. They did the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection for PlayStation 3, Metal Gear Solid HD collection for both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. They worked with Konami, obviously, on that one. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. They did the Vita port. They did the Flower port for both PlayStation 4 and Vita. They did the Titanfall port for Xbox 360. And we know how that was. Fantastic. Yeah. They were the ones responsible for that port.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. They did the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection for PlayStation 4. They did Gravity Rush remastered for PlayStation 4. They did Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4. And of course, most recently, and the one that really brought them to light was Demon Souls for PlayStation 5. And the fantastic work that they did with that game,
Yeah.
especially
Excellent.
visually, it is phenomenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, Blue Point has been under, people believe it's going to be acquired very soon by Sony because of how closely they've worked. And obviously there was a mistake that they made when they were announcing Nixus acquisition, and they accidentally put out the Blue Point one.
Right.
And they kind of pulled it back. They never said officially that it wasn't going to happen. They just said it was a mistake, I think, and simply left it at that. But why I bring this up and why it would be really cool if Bethesda is actually making another studio that is going to be focused on remakes and remasters. Obviously, we don't know what the plans are with that, but we could project, let's say, that now that they are part of Xbox, now that they are underneath this umbrella, that they would not be solely just focused on Bethesda titles, that they could branch out and potentially look at this back catalog of IP that Xbox has sitting there,
Right.
and pull some of those games out as well. And I think that's where you start to see the potential of this with Game Pass, which we just talked about extensively.
Mm-hmm.
There is a spot. And again, I love new IP as much as the next person, but I also do have nostalgia, and I do live in nostalgia a lot. But what we've seen is not only from Sony doing their remakes, but we've seen Capcom have huge success with the Resident Evil remakes, right? We've seen that happen. We just saw Electronic Arts, EA, came out and said that Mass Effect Legendary Edition was a bigger hit than they had projected. It beat all expectations. We now see them going, and they're going to reboot Dead Space, right? We see this now happening more and more, that some of these decades old titles are coming back to life again, and that there is an absolute market for them. And with Game Pass, you don't have the risk factor per se that you normally would in trying to do one of these.
Mm-hmm.
If you drop it in the Game Pass, again, with that big giant pool of people sitting there waiting, a lot of them, obviously already have too many games, but we know a lot of them are a lot like me and love to try everything that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
You have this pool of people just waiting for these games. And if something nostalgic drops in, or a younger person who may not have had an opportunity to try something like you yourself with Mass Effect, you were playing different games at the time, whatever, Dead Space, it drops in there and, I heard about this game back in the day, or my dad told me about this, my mom told me about this, and I've always wanted to play this. Look at this, brand new. You drop it in there, the risk is lower than it would be as if you didn't have a Game Pass. You don't have to nail it out of the park every time. With every title, does not have to be absolutely 100% a home run. You can have some that are, that come out and maybe, do okay. You got some engagement, so people pick it up, whatever else. But that means you open up the entire catalog of IP possibilities, right? Crimson Skies, right? That comes up. We've heard about that one, especially. Obviously I'd be remiss on behalf of Boom if I did not say Banjo and Kazooie, right? So
Panzer Dragoon.
Right. The Panzer Dragoon.
Jade Empire.
Right. Exactly. All those, and hopefully they do something with Jade Empire at some point. But the point being is that all this IP is just sitting there. So it excites me when I hear a rumor like this, and it makes so much sense, because between all of ZeniMax Studios, but specifically Bethesda, and between Xbox, they have so much IP sitting there that could do a remake or a remaster and have a place nowadays in this industry. And it would be awesome for all of us that either A, played it back in the day and just want it brought forward a little bit, or B, just never had a chance to get around to playing it, but get to play it in the best form possible, like you did with Mass Effect, right? That stuff is for the industry a cool thing, a great thing for preservation. The more IPs that we can bring forward, the better. And I am excited, and I, like Scalzi, I hope this is true. And I hope that they give it I obviously they will. If they're going to do this, Xbox is behind it 100%. I'm sure Phil, as a historian of video games, as somebody who does want to preserve the history, is probably involved, even if this was just like a thought for Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xbox make the acquisition, and Phil had heard, from Todd that they were thinking about doing this. I can almost guarantee you that Phil would be all about this and be like, yes, let's do this. This is something right up his alley. I really hope this happens, Steel. What are your thoughts on, bringing forward games or just remastering, remaking, and having a specific studio set up to just focus solely on that, to become experts at doing this, much like Bluepoint has shown that they can do? What do you think, Steel? You think this is a good thing?
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like I've said in the past, man, it's nothing but, it can be nothing but a good thing. The only thing, like, I don't see anything wrong with treating gaming like it's art, man. Like going into that back catalog, reaching into your backpack and seeing what you got down in the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many titles, like a lot of the titles that we brought up that haven't been touched on in a while, or just stagnant IPs, or maybe just have been slept on just because maybe there isn't as big of a market for as there was at one point. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's hard to really get an eye for what the market may want now if you're not even willing to try to put out like an updated version of it, because it takes time, it takes effort. You may not have a team that wants to go back and do that, as we saw with Rare. Straight up said, we're not making a Banjo-Kazooie game. We're
Right.
not doing it. So who will, right?
Right.
This could be one of those opportunities. And I'm over here knocking
Whoa.
everything down. I got controllers falling.
Getting
Hey,
wild.
shout out to the throwback Xbox 360 controller, Halo style.
Steel getting hyped for Banjo and Kazooie.
Halo 4, by the way.
Who's
If
gonna
y'all
love
don't see
that?
it. Yeah. Banjo-Kazooie, a classic back on Nintendo
Yeah.
64.
Right.
But I see it nothing. I see it as nothing but positive, as a positive thing, man. Anybody that tries to like downplaying it, I don't see why anybody would want to do that. I hope that it's true. I hope there's some truth to it, man. I mean, again, this whole ZeniMax deal has just become more of a positive for Xbox, and I think that anybody could have possibly imagined. There's so many positive things going out there, and especially as future plays. I still haven't seen any, and they might have implemented it in the background already, but we know that ZeniMax had the whole Orion thing going on. Wow, we seen really how that plays into it. Now hearing some of this in the background, even though it's a rumor, it's like, if Sony has one on their side that's willing to go in and dig in their data banks and see what people may be interested in, and even if they aren't, putting out a game to kind of gauge interest, because sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to say, hey, you remember that game from back then? Yeah, we remastered it. Here you go. To get people's engagement. I feel like that's what they did with Legendary Edition. They gave it to the to the devs. They put some time, effort, and energy into it, and for a game that came out in 2005, 6.
Yeah.
That whole entire series is amazing. You know what I mean? And there's just so many there's so much untapped potential with what could happen, and just the possibilities. I'm excited for it. I'd be down for it. Again, there's games that I definitely want to see make a comeback. Shenmue, Republic Commando, as we've seen, it's made a little bit of a comeback. Star Wars and everything. Knights of the Old Republic. I want those types of games. Unreal Tournament. I would love to see Unreal Tournament make a little bit of a comeback. And if they can be a studio that can Quake, I would love to see SSX Tricky, Mercenaries Playground from back in the day, Time Splitters, as we've talked about before.
Yeah, that's coming back.
Yeah, that's coming back.
Wait.
It's like, why Beyond Good and Evil from back in the day, some of the Prince of Persia's, Project Gotham, Riddick. There's so many games. If you just go through a list like that could potentially make a comeback and really blow up in today's ecosystem. Because let's face it, gaming, like especially like graphics and everything, have gotten to such a level now where it's like, damn, how would a Panzer Dragoon look today? You know what I mean? So I'm interested in it, and I have a lot of hype for it. I want to see if there, I hope there's some truth to it, and I'm looking forward to more news from this, man. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely
Twisted
something.
Metal. Twisted Metal needs to have a
Twisted
remake
Metal is
too.
one of those, but I feel like the latest entry to Twisted Metal,
Yeah.
and I know David Jaffe spoke on this a little
Right.
bit, the creator of God of War and Twisted Metal.
Yep.
He spoke on it a little bit before that last Twisted Metal just didn't get the engagement that
Yeah.
it should have got.
Just,
Who knows? And who knows
I
why?
just think vehicular combat has a place, and I think
Oh yeah.
it could work. It's had its break. I'm
There's
just
a
happy
reason
to
Mario
see
works. Mario Kart works.
right. I'm just happy to see. I'm just happy to say, or I'm happy to see more big publishers start to do this, because as that happens, more and more will be willing to look at their old IP and say, hey, could we do that? Could we bring this back? We got a lot of fans out there have been asking for it. Could we honestly do that? Legacy of Kain. Could we bring that back? Right? Could we remaster that or remake it and bring it up to speed and have good luck with it, good sales. And I just want to see more do it. So if another studio comes into play like this, solely focused on this and does a good job, and the numbers are there, and and these other publishers see the response to it, and everybody tweeting about it and everybody playing it, it opens up more opportunity for those other games, like the list that you just ran down, some of those games out there that are with other publishers to be looked at and possibly greenlit. I think that's going to be great for us going forward. So
Right. I see it as nothing but a positive.
Yeah.
And I would look forward to it. So it's just something to keep in mind. Don't mind me. I'm going in and downloading the Ninja Gaiden collection again. Another series of games that I've always enjoyed but never got to thoroughly play. So I wanted to make sure I went in and downloaded that, because I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, damn, we're thinking about older games. I was like, and Ninja Gaiden ran across the screen. I was like, oh shit! I shout out to Yobi. He got that for us. I need to fucking play that shit. So excellent. So I wanted to make sure I got those downloaded before I fucking forgot. But yeah, man. Again, excellent conversation, excellent points, and it just adds on to this golden age of gaming mantra that we've kind of forced onto the community. It's kind of, I know the lords like to, take a lot of credibility for a lot of the sayings and everything that they got got going on. But I like to, at least over here on the Living Splitscreen, I think we should take the credit for putting that golden age of gaming out there.
Yeah, it's been around for a while, brother. So we've definitely been pumping that golden age of gaming for sure. So that's we can definitely take credit for that. Why not, right?
At least I feel like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, why not?
But yeah, man, look. So far, I think we've had a pretty good show. For a light week. If anybody got anything else that y'all might want to talk about in the chat, man, let us know. Chat again. You guys are on fire. Always showing us love, showing us appreciation. We're over 2 hours. Again, when it comes to me and you, man, I got people, just to give you some look into a little bit of the background. I've had a couple people hit me up in the DMs and be like, hey, man, how would you feel about a guest and this, that, and other thing? And I was like, I don't know, man. With me and Pong, we could already talk for 2 hours guaranteed. It's like, at this point, if you guys haven't learned by now, 19 episodes in, we can guarantee you at least 2 hours of straight gaming passion and content, man.
That's right.
So it's like, do we bring somebody else in to break up the monotony or break up the flow or whatever the case? Because I feel like what me and Pong bring you, what makes it very different, I mean, one is the passion, but it's just the energy too, right? You don't get this everywhere. Everybody doesn't give it to you the way that we do it with the enthusiasm and and again, just going back to the passion, the energy, the vibes, the authenticity. That I feel like are all important things when you're listening to gaming content or just listening to content overall. I don't know, there's people out there that like to be funny. I know there's people that try to be lighthearted in the situation. There's people that really thrive off the content, the console wars and everything else, and love that. And that's cool. But for us, again, the bigger picture is those 3 billion people, and that's who we would overall would love to speak to. You know what I mean? Getting people, thousands of people in here one day, and talking to these people and saying, "Hey, this is our thoughts, this is our feelings," and they love. And they and you guys, I should say, I'm not going to just say they, but you all loving the what we bring to the table versus what somebody down the road might bring you. So that's just how I kind of. But with that, unless Paul, you got some other things you want to touch on as far as that goes, and our overall mission and our goal and everything.
No, man. I think you hit it. You hit it out of the park every time, Steel. So again, you're the hype man. You come through. Again, you lay it out very clear what our mission is and what we like to do and why we feel that we do have something different here. Again, you can hear the same stuff over and over again, and it's totally cool. I listen to so many podcasts. Again. You're going to hear it, but I like hearing other people's voices as well. But Steele and I do try to bring something different each and every week. Even on a light news week, we do try to hit it from different angles or come up with something that maybe you didn't hear about or you didn't hear discussed in depth like we like to do. Again, him and I like the sound of our voices. We enjoy it. So we wind up talking. But no, that's why I brought you guys the Scalzi tweet. Again, a little bit of, it's speculation town, but it's fun and it's something to think about. And again, I didn't just talk about Bethesda because we're not simply Xbox, we're not Xbox centric. We're not console centric here. So we talk about everything. So again, when I talked about it, and when Steele talked about, we talked about it from the industry as a whole, right? And what it could mean when we start seeing, publishers, potentially invest in a studio solely responsible for doing remakes and remasters of old IP and how that can influence the rest of the industry and what we've seen. That's why you see us take those takes. Yes, we are going to have very centric takes as well when we're talking about specific topics, obviously. But Steele and I, like Steele just said, always try to look at the bigger picture. We try to remove ourselves from the bubbles that we all can get into by being on Twitter, by talking to the same people on a regular basis. And we try to take the satellite view. And again, we're not experts. We're not within the industry outside of content creation. We're not developers, as some people are here. We're not like that. But at the same time, Steele and I have been doing gaming for a long time. We've been in business. We've done our, jobs that we have in real life. And we can take a step back and take a look at the industry through those lenses. And we don't always have to be right. Again, this is an opinion-based show. We are simply here to give you a different side of things, different things to think about, and maybe a perspective that you never even considered before. And that's all we're trying to do. And if we do that on a regular basis each and every week, then we have accomplished our mission. And we love you all and we respect you all. And again, the chat is absolutely amazing all the time. We have some of the greatest people in here giving their own perspectives, which has led to more conversations. Go back and listen to last week's nearly 4-hour show. A lot of that, a lot of that was driven by the chat, right? By what Steele and I were seeing in there. Again, last week we had some bigger topics. We had some bigger things going on, and some weeks are going to be like that. But at the end of the day, that's what it's about, being here within the community and just talking about stuff from our different viewpoints in our own real life experiences and what we can do to see certain things within the industry on top of our passion for just loving doing this and loving talking about this stuff and loving video games in general as a hobby.
Right.
And I think that's what we bring each and every week here on Living Splitscreen on your Saturday mornings, and glad that so many of you seem to be enjoying it. We love and respect all of you. So yeah, absolutely. Still.
Facts. Those are 100% facts. Apparently, Giza Prime said Mav and 3-Bit were doing impressions of us last night. Why didn't you tell me about this? Well, how did that go?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what they do that all the time. Mav. Mav's got your intro down.
Oh, does he?
Oh yeah. So funny.
Oh, that's funny.
He's so funny. Yeah.
I gotta listen. I gotta listen to that. You gotta come in.
Invitation
live
is the sincerest form of flattery.
I gotta come in live, raw, and uncut. I can't help it. But it's nothing but love. Trevor was saying, why y'all got to do some LSS community game nights? And man, that's something me and Pong were thinking, man. I think the Ascent kind of brought that back up. We were talking about maybe streaming that live and everything. I think the biggest thing for us right now is just this is what we got going on personal, right? It's getting home and then finding the time to do it, or over the weekend. I mean, the weekend would be the perfect time. But again, you still got real life that you got to deal with, and making sure that everything is in order.
Copacetic.
And exactly, copacetic, exactly. That's the best way to put it. And sometimes hopefully at some point we can get to the point where we get to the weekend or whatever, we get to a Saturday or something, at some point during the week where we can stream for you guys. I would love to do some co-op game nights or whatever the case might be. And really see what's up with that. I think that's a cool idea.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's definitely something we'll eventually do from time to time for sure. And especially with some of the games coming out this year. I think with Halo,
a lot of Battlefield. There's gonna be a lot of
Battlefield. Oh yeah. I mean, we're gonna have the opportunity to do that more. And like Steel said, it's just about real life and that kind of stuff. We got plans in the future once I can get a computer and stuff, co-streaming and doing stuff like that and going live more often when we have the opportunity to do so. Because again, when Steel and I are just sitting around, most of the time we are just BSing like we do here and talking. And we'd love to bring, have people in the chat and stuff and interact with you guys. Again, I think that stuff's fun. And I think that's definitely something that we will look at doing in the foreseeable future for sure. Because it definitely is a good time. It's something that you and I both enjoy. So
that's 100%. Yeah, man. So with that being said, we're gonna get into the final segment of today's show. This day in gaming, where I like to go back.
My lawn. I'm old.
I like to go back within the last 30 years of gaming and really give people a retrospective of what they, give you some memories to think about, man. Some games you might have played back in the day, or just to kind of give you guys a perspective that you cannot forget where we came from. Not only that, but gaming is art and should be treated as such. I get tired of people that say, "Oh, old games, they're pointless, they're worthless. I don't get why we care about old games." And to be completely honest, if it wasn't for some of these older games, we wouldn't have some of the new games that we have today. Again, there's devs will tell you time and time again where they pull their ideas from, where they get their experiences from. And a lot of the time, it's from older games or other titles from over the years, man. So that's the whole point of this segment. And with that being said, let's get neck deep into this day in gaming. So, as of today, August 7th, 1987, the NES released Robo Warrior in Japan.
Yeah, good year.
Not familiar with Robo Warrior. It sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with it. This is crazy to think about, that Nintendo 64 is this old. 1997, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, released in Japan. Never heard of that title, but okay.
Nope.
PlayStation released in 97 also, Point Blank in Japan. I think I've heard of that either, but okay. 2000, some of you might know about this. PlayStation released Tenchu 2, Birth of the Stealth Assassins. Tenchu is a great series. If you guys have never played Tenchu, definitely need to jump into that. I don't think I had a chance to play Tenchu Z. But I definitely played some Tenchu back in the day.
That's why Origami fills a little bit of that void.
Yeah, it does. We need to.
We got to finish that off.
We need to
that's
finish
coming next month.
Too. Yeah,
Origami 2 is coming next month.
We definitely. I want to know what's going on with the story, because that crazy little
that crazy little girl, ghost girl.
Yeah, I need to see what the fuck's going on with her.
Yeah.
Because I think
that level we currently got stuck on, though, that's something else. We're gonna have to.
I think we got it. I think maybe it just got a little too late. Then as we move forward, in 2003, you had on the GameCube Resident Evil Code Veronica X, or Japan 10. Got it.
Yes, Code Veronica, my favorite Resident Evil.
Yeah, I do agree with you, General C. Tenchu definitely needs a reboot.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about that whole reboot conversation. Again, there's so
Yep.
many titles that we can go that and get in those databases. No matter where they are, I saw somebody bring that up. Oh, they would have to talk to Sega. That's not the point. It's just like we got to dig in those data banks, man. There's so many titles that could come back.
And like we said too. Again, it just means that again, not to break off another tangent, but no. It's the fact what we were pointing out. Steel made a list of games from all over the place. That's just some of the industry IP that's sitting out there. I try to bring that back with when you see big publishers putting in the effort to put out games like Capcom is, like Sony is, and maybe potentially this new studio, it just opens up the opportunity that maybe some of the other publishers out there will look at those back IPs and go, you know what, we could do the same thing and make a little money off of this. Let's do that. Exactly. You know, that's all we were trying to say. Steel listed off a bunch, yes, that are complex IPs. There's IPs everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But the potential's there to open up the door that more people will start looking at the success and say, hey, we can get in on this action. Yeah. There is a market here. That's what I'm about. So yeah.
Who's going to turn down more money, right?
Right, exactly.
2007, the DS released a slew of Mega Man games. Who doesn't like Mega Man? If you don't like Mega Man, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about you. You might be a little weird. Mega Man Star Force Dragon. Then you had Mega Man Star Force Leo. Then you had Mega Man Star Force Pegasus.
I don't know my Mega Man lore like that. I don't know what the Star Force is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. I was never having the DS. I think the last time I played a Mega Man game for real was on Nintendo. Oh, is there a Mega Man game on 64?
There's been a Mega Man game pretty much every year.
I can't remember. I don't want to say it was that far back because I'm pretty sure it was something before the DS that I played Mega Man on. It might have been my Game Boy SP or something at the time, but whatever. 2008, we then move into the DS releasing Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon in Japan. The Wii released Lost in Blue Shipwrecked in Japan.
Nice.
Then the DS also released Monster Rancher DS. Then the DS also released probably everybody's favorite game, Rhapsody, a musical adventure in Japan. And then I know this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one for Pong. Xbox 360 released Tales of Vesperia in Japan. And I actually just noticed that I was not sharing my screen, so you guys weren't able to look at these games, man.
Oh, and of course, the time I flip off of YouTube and I'm actually looking at our Zoom, and you don't do that. I've been watching YouTube the whole time.
Damn. I didn't pull up the screen. Damn. All good though. But you guys can see it now, just so give you a little bit of time so you can look at the top of the list as I'm about to scroll down. But yeah, we're right here. Xbox 360 releasing Tales of Vesperia. 2008
series.
Man, I'm excited for that Tales of Arise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's excited for that Tales of Arise. More gameplay that I see of that. The more I'm like, I need that game like tomorrow.
Telling you, Bandai Namco's got something special going on right now.
Yeah,
Bandai Namco
is up and down, but
they're up right now. They're up right now.
They need to keep it there.
Yes.
Then in 2009, PC released Hearts of Iron 3. That sounds familiar, but
sounds like a tank game. Sounds like one of those, or a mech game. It sounds like one of those PC, really, whatever you see, Hearts of Iron. I wonder what it is.
The Hearts of Iron series has become renowned for being the biggest, most detailed, and complete strategic game series on World War II ever made.
Yes. There we go. See, I knew it. It had tanks in it.
So it makes sense. All right. So 2012, PlayStation 3 released Persona 4 Arena. Then on iOS, you got World Conqueror 2. There you go. Shout out to the phone gamers.
Yeah. Shout out to Apple.
Again, the phone
don't know you, just like I don't know Nintendo anymore.
Phone gamers drive the other 2.5 billion gamers that are out there.
Yep.
So that's the market we're trying to reach. We're trying to put consoles in their homes, man. We're trying to give them reasons to get, hop on their TV with a little stream stick or whatever it's going to take for them to play some of these games, man.
Hey, while we're on mobile, real quick, anybody in the chat, you guys been looking to pick up Chrono Trigger, been looking up to pick up Final Fantasy Tactics, what is it? War of Lions? God, I always forget that title. They are on sale on Android right now for like $5, like legit. And Chrono Trigger, for a fact, is compatible with the Razer Kishi as well.
Oh,
so
wow,
you
that's
can
dope.
play that. Yeah, you can play that with a controller. I'm planning on picking that up and trying to put it on my big screen and then using the Razer Kishi. So
Hey,
I'm going to try that out. But yeah, anybody looking, there's a big sale going on of some Square Enix stuff right now. So
hey, and Trevor, none of that Sonic slander here. Sonic's a better character than Mario is. I'll tell you that. Freaking gosh darn it. God damn it. Talk about Sonic. No, I'm playing. I mean, I can understand it. I feel like that's always a thing. You're either a Sonic guy or you're a Mario guy. Maybe you're not either, and you like Metroid. But no, they're all good series. It's kind of one of those you like one or the other, or you may not like any of them, but there's something in those same kind of genre of games that you probably were into back in the day that really pulled your attention. Shout out to you though. 2013 3DS, we got the Denpa Men 3, the rise of digital in Japan. Hopefully y'all remember that because I don't. 2014 PlayStation 3, we got Lost Dimension in Japan, and PlayStation Vita also released Lost in Dimension in Japan. I don't know what that title is, but all right.
Lost Dimension sounds familiar. I wonder if it ever came.
It sounds familiar, but obviously not familiar enough.
What was it released on?
Lost Dimension was on PlayStation 3 and the Vita in 2014.
Yeah, that's where I know it from. I bet you anything I know it from the Vita. Yes, I recognize it. Yeah, okay. Right, cool. It's a tactical RPG. So that's why I knew about it. Yeah, okay. Cool.
But yeah, Trevor, it is all about Pac-Man. You can't deny Pac-Man. Pac-Man's good. I'll give you that. If you don't like Pac-Man, I think you're just committing a cardinal sin. Like you can't look at a good old Pac-Man table and be like, I don't feel like playing Pac-Man. You're probably gonna pop at least a quarter in there. Yeah, you can get a little bit of gameplay. And then the General C, before I get to you, also said, I heard Activision has another lawsuit with investors. Yeah, man. Activision Blizzard has some.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that a lot.
We talked about it.
Some big heads rolled and stuff. Yeah, but I'm talking about this week. Big heads rolled. Big heads rolled. But yeah, the lawsuit from the investors is a big one. The investors are claiming that they covered up a lot of this stuff, which made the stock prices go up. And whenever you do that, and then this stuff comes out, the investors are going to be extremely unhappy because their investment is no longer stable and was not what it was advertised at. So yes, there are rules against that and laws against that. So that's a big lawsuit.
I mean, personally, to take a quick detour, I think Call of Duty is in a lot more trouble than we think that it is. I'm not sure about Call of Duty releasing this year at all. We still haven't heard anything about it, and it's August. That's never happened for Call of Duty. Never.
We could have some development hell going on right now with that game. So behind the scenes.
This may be a year that Call of Duty gets skipped, and they just continue to push Warzone, which I personally think that they should. But then I also think there's just a lot of negative things happening on that side, man. Yeah, I agree with that. Bobby Kotick needs to go. Man's making too much money.
But he's not.
Yeah, no, he's not.
He's throwing everybody under the bus, and actually he has gained more power now by doing what he's done. So
I mean, so hopefully people like Mike Ybarra, who's moved up the chain. I know people are like, oh well, he didn't move up because he's good at his job.
Co-leader.
But Mike Ybarra is also one of the original minds of Gamepass too. So he talked.
Well, Bobby Kotick is not dumb, and he understands he's only got so many people that he can throw under the bus, and he is in a very precarious situation right now. So he is building the moat around his castle. But if there is another mess up, he knows they're coming. So I think hopefully he lets Mike Ybarra and clean up shop and really clean out the cancer that needs to be taken out. Unfortunately, I believe Bobby probably will survive this for the time being. But again, if there's anything else that ever shows up again, his head will be gone. So
at this point.
Unfortunately, that's the reality. His golden parachute is too gigantic. I don't think they're going to pay him off to leave. So
yeah, and Trevor was saying Battlefield has to go in the Game Pass. It would absolutely destroy COD if it does. Honestly, kind of like what Geezer was saying in the chat. I don't think Battlefield doesn't have to do anything. Battlefield attracts its own crowd, and I think it will end up going into Game Pass at some point. I think it'll take at least 6 months. At least.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of the short. I think it's gonna be one of the shorter ones. Because EA likes to play around that time frame.
Could be 90 days, maybe.
I think depending on sales and depending on engagement and all that stuff,
That's the biggest thing.
I think 6 months would be a good time for it. Maybe shorter, maybe right into the spring, right into like, or I should say right after the holidays, like of February or January or February.
Right.
Once sales kind of taper off, I could see them dropping it into EA Play, and then subsequently that means it's in Game Pass. So
and one of the bigger reasons I don't see Battlefield coming out in Game Pass soon is just because I don't think Xbox wants to release their number one shooter on Game Pass and release and have Battlefield on Game Pass. It's kind of like taking away from one, even though they're different from each other, and I could play both. Like, it's like I wouldn't care if either one of them in there. I would still play both, but I'm just looking at the bigger picture. I know they want to recoup some of their money or whatever. They're going to want that attention. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
I think there's at least going to be some kind of a break in there if it does, because there's no guarantee.
And EA knows they have the hype right now, and they've done everything right, and they know that COD right now is just not looking good at all. So they know they have the advantage, and I think they're going to take that and run, and they don't have to use Game Pass. Had they stumbled and Battlefield wasn't looking like the for sure thing
it might have been different.
It might have been a different story. But I think they're okay right now.
Yeah, so, facts. Well, I mean, we'll see. Again, I know me and Pong are talking about buying the $100 version. So.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's
happening. Matty Burns in the chat. He already pre-ordered that.
Hey, see,
he's all about Battlefield.
So I mean, that should tell you all you need to know. So just to continue with it, 2014 3DS released Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson in Japan. Not familiar with that, but again, I might ask my brother about that.
Pronounced it beautifully, as always.
Thanks, man.
That's
I
all that matters.
So we got an excellent game right here. I haven't had a chance to actually play through it. This is actually one of the games that I've tried to play on xCloud, but it just wasn't that great of an experience. Again, for me, xCloud still has some things to go with. I haven't played on data yet, xCloud, so I still need to try that out. But as far as Wi-Fi, I don't know what it is, and I got good connection. But 2018, Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, Dead Cells released.
Yes, very good.
And yeah, I've heard
very good.
I've heard,
yes, brother.
Facts. That's another one. It's another one of those indie titles that I definitely want to at least give a good playthrough. Then on Nintendo Switch, you had Flipping Death, and everyone's favorite game. At least it's one of my daughter's favorite game, and also my wife's favorite game. Overcooked 2.
Oh, jeez.
Who wants to get in there and cook you something?
Not for me. I tried playing. I played Overcooked 1. Oh my God.
I can't.
Yeah. No.
There's so many other things I'd rather be doing than playing Overcooked. I'd rather go take all the fairings off my motorcycle, do my complete oil change, replace the spark plugs, then play Overcooked.
I just like starting the entire kitchen on fire. That's what I did.
Oh, that's hilarious. And then in 2020, hey, shout out to Nixus, who's going to really be releasing more PC ports soon. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition released on PC. So, that being said, that is your This Day in Gaming segment, where we go back within the last 30 years, just give you and show some love and some respect to where we have come from in the gaming space, kind of give you some memories to think back on, and overall treat gaming as art as the way it should be treated. With that being said, man, Pong, we're at the end of the show, man. Again,
we are, brother. Another one out of the park. Next week is 20 episodes.
Episode 20, man. We're almost halfway to a year, man. Almost halfway to doing this for a year. It's crazy. Yep. It all started in the DMs.
It all started in the DMs. That's gonna when they do our look back, or they do our biography of Living Splitscreen. It'll start there. It started in the DMs.
Well, it started in the chats, but
yeah, but
it all started in the chats. Pong Steel just couldn't get enough of talking. Oh
That's right.
man.
No, man, we did a great job. Again, slow week. Chat, you guys were amazing. Thank you for coming out. It's been a slow week overall. I've even seen some shows take time off and stuff. It's that time of the year. We've got a ton of gaming stuff, but it seems like the industry right now is kind of, we had some stuff we didn't even talk about, like Embracer Group buying up some more stuff and stuff like that. But overall, we're at a slow time. A lot of the content that again was supposed to be in 2021, a lot of the games that were supposed to be there are now coming out. We're seeing this flood of gaming that everybody is enjoying. So I'm not too sad about it. We do have some shows coming up in August, which is going to be big. We've got next week Microsoft is doing another ID at Xbox. So we're going to get some stuff out of that for sure. They are doing it with Twitch again. So hopefully it's not the same format as the last one. Games were excellent, but the format was awful. I'm going to be busy at work next week, big time. So this is I'm not going to be able to catch it live. I don't think. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to be watching it afterwards. So Steele and I will definitely have some thoughts on that for episode 20, I'm sure. So yeah, no, we're moving right along. And I think once we get through August here, towards the end of August with the big shows coming up, we're going to really start hitting. And then of course we're going to be rolling in September, October, and for the world, September and October is now holiday shopping season, basically when it starts. So it used to be later than that, but now everybody starts early. So we're going to definitely be back at it with a lot of news coming up. But again, chat, you guys were amazing for hanging out with Steele, and I had another fantastic time here today. Again, always look forward to this, truly. And again, nothing but love and respect for all of you. Keep spreading the word, keep sharing us out, keep helping us grow. Again, Steele and I just want to share with as many people our passion as we can. That's what we're here to do. But again, thank you all for coming out. Steele, you want to do outros? You want me to just kick off? And
I can start it off by saying, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I appreciate you for tuning in to the Living Split Screen Morning Show, where we are a non-console centric platform giving you that live, raw, uncut, authentic, energetic vibes that only me and my guy, my brother from another Pong Steel can bring you. Trust me, it's unmatched. I've looked, I've scoured, I don't see it. It's here in the Living Split Screen. I just hope that you guys continue to realize that. I appreciate the energy that you guys continue to pour into the chats. Again, week by week, we see the people that are consistent in here. We see the love that we get shown. And again, I like to treat it as, anybody that pops in here, it's just like people coming into a room and really wanting to come check us out. And then using that perspective, it's been an amazing thing. We're getting close to 250 subs. Trying to get to that 1,000. I'm pretty sure that's everybody's first goal, but we're on that mission, man, and hopefully we can continue to push that mantle. But with that being said, I still reign. The T is the 7 everywhere, otherwise known as Steel Rain, or you could just call me Steel. But type it into your search bar anywhere you got one at. Just type it in. You more than likely will find me, especially on Twitter, YouTube, Xbox. Don't currently have a PlayStation, so I'm not going to keep promoting that until PlayStation gives me a reason to play or to invest in their ecosystem. Personally, hopefully they can do that with releasing factions or something. I don't know. It's kind of looking kind of bleak on that side, but I'd be more than waiting for some good energy coming from that side, some good competition. But with that being said, man, yeah, you can catch me every Saturday right here. The Living Split Screen Morning Show, where we go live 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time. Pong, what you got for the people?
Hey, look, guys, you know the drill by now. So Pong Steel everywhere on Xbox and on Twitter. Obviously not the same as Steel. If you Google me, I will pop up if you Google Pong Steel, but you might also find a Korean gentleman by the same name, Pong Steel, and that's definitely not me, obviously. So I'm not quite the same level as Steel when you Google. But anyways, I am Pong Steel everywhere. Shop Podcast is taking a break. Shout out to PTK. Blam, take care of your business, brother. be here when you get back, all the time you need. You just do your thing, man. So PTK is taking some time off. Man's been doing this for 5 years now, and just needs to take care of some real life stuff. So we won't be having the shop podcast. We don't know how long a break it's going to be, but tonight in replacement, you can find me on, she's calling it a mini-sode. So I'm assuming that she is not planning on having a long show tonight either, but Scumcast tonight over with the absolutely one and only, the incredible, the Ash Luca, and that crew over there. I will be there at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, hanging out with those. Steel was just on last week, right? Steel?
Facts.
Last week?
Living split screen, interchanging. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. We've done this a couple times. So the Scumcast tonight, and then obviously Tuesday. Don't know if I'm going to be on Xbox Factor Podcast Tuesday. I got to confirm. I don't think I'm going to be, but normally you can find me on Xbox Factor Podcast with Mr. Boomstick over at Double Barrel Gaming, of course, Zemi Games. 3-Bit is a permanent member of that panel, but he has been ultra busy as well with work and doing real stuff in this industry as 3-Bit does. So Mav has been filling in. We've had Steel on there. So man, come by Xbox Factor Podcast Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Friday nights, you know the drill. Xbox Ultimate, as Steele said earlier in the show, we just celebrated a 1-year anniversary of the Magnificent Seven. Fun Speculation. Caitlin had been doing it for a year. Shout out to them and congrats again. We had nothing but a love fest last night. So stop by Xbox Ultimate for all the best gaming news and topics. We just have a great time. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time on Fridays. And then back here again, like I said, episode 20. Cannot wait. Numbers are a thing. It's a milestone. I love hearing those even numbers come back around. 20. I can't believe it's been 20 Steel. 20, 20, 20. Dude.
It's whoa.
It's crazy, man. So anyways, see you all here next Saturday. You'll be seeing me in some chats. This week, I'm not probably going to be around a whole lot, but it is what it is. Real life happens, but I'm definitely trying to make my weekly video. But again, everybody, love you dearly for being here and supporting me and Steel. Hope you all enjoyed the show and get out there, play what you love what you play. It is truly the golden age of gaming. Keep that in mind. We are privileged to be alive as gamers during this time. We are seeing so much crazy, cool, awesome things out there right now. So, but otherwise, have a great weekend and we'll talk to you real soon.
Hey, y'all keep it live, raw, and uncut, and we'll see y'all next weekend on the Living Split Screen Morning Show. Much love.